Hello everyone, this is your friend Shinobi Nexus 2.0 and we are back in new fanfic. What if Naruto was reborn as Nariko and his first day at Konoha High changed everything? Part 1. Nariko was floating in midair in the middle of nowhere, but then, pop! A giant bowl of ramen appeared out of thin air. It looked so steamy and tasty it made Nariko's mouth drool. Ah! Ramen. Giant ramen. It's so beautiful, said Nariko as she wiped the drool off her mouth. Pop! A pair of chopsticks appeared in her hands. Yes, now I can eat it all, exclaimed Nariko, floating towards the ramen slowly. Come to mama, she said when she reached the giant bowl of ramen. But just when she was about to put the delicious food in her mouth. Beep, beep, beep. Her alarm clock woke her up. She hit it so it would turn it off, then she kept repeating hitting it out of frustration. Stupid alarm clock. Spoiling my beautiful dreams of ramen. She growled furiously. After hitting the poor alarm clock a number of times, she sighed and got up to get dressed, leaving the poor abused alarm clock alone. Today's the day, Nariko thought as she tied her hair with her blue bandana. Today's the day I go to Konoha High. Wow! Sighed Sakura, as she gazed at Sasuke. He's even cuter this year, if that even possible, blushed a small Sasuke fangirl. The inner Sakura suddenly appeared. Yeah, and that pig Ino better watch out. 'Cause Sasuke mine. Cha. Sasuke let out an annoyed sigh. These fangirls are annoying. Nariko slowly walked through the crowed halls. It felt strange. Iruka taught her at home, so this school was frightening yet appealing at the same time. She felt so embarrassed that moment, since no one had seen her before. Everyone was staring at her. Some boy's wolf whistled. Hey, Blondie, I'd like a piece of you. One of them said. Nariko chose to ignore them. Bastards, she thought furiously, stomping away. She entered her homeroom, to find everyone stare at her yet again. Geez, I get the point. I'm new, no one knows me. So stop staring. Nariko thought to herself, scanning for an empty seat. Excuse me, there's an empty seat next to me, muttered a timid voice. Nariko spun her head round to the person who spoke to her. It was a girl with black hair and white eyes. Nariko gave a warm smile to the girl. She seems to be a good person, she thought to herself, taking her seat next to the girl. I'm Hinata Hyuga, said Hinata, shaking the blonde's hand. I'm Nariko Uzumaki, pleased to meet you. I didn't see you in middle school. Are you new to town? Asked Hinata, worried that she'll offend her. Nariko just smiled. No, I was home tutored by my guardian Iruka. This year I managed to convince her to let go to high school, answered Nariko. Also the fact I completely sucked at Iruka's school work, and if social services found out how bad I was doing they'll probably kidnap and put me up for adoption, thought Nariko. Nariko turned her head to some girls squealing. Nariko covered her ears and groaned, Ack. What are they squealing about? They're the Sasuke fan club. Who? You'll know him soon enough. Most girls in middle girls had crushes on him, in middle school, replied Hinata. Sasuke's born on July 23rd, that makes him a Cancer, and I was on January 4th, that makes me a Capricorn, and Cancers and Capricorns are totally compatible, smirked one of the fangirls. Nariko watched in amazement as the two girls started a bitch fight. Talk about obsessed, she thought. She looked over to Sasuke. And over him. He looks like a cold-hearted bastard. She saw him gave a cold glare to a girl trying to ask him out. That girl crawled to a corner and started crying. And I was right, she thought angrily. Sasuke and Nariko's eyes caught each other's in a split second. In that split second she gave him a glare. Sasuke was shocked, though he did not show it, that a girl glared at him like that. Almost every girl fallen in love with him at first sight. This girl's different. He glanced at her when she wasn't looking. She had bright yellow hair. Her hair was tied back by a blue headband. She wore an orange shirt, black skirt, blue tights with orange stars on them, and black boots. Not the usual fashion for most girls in Konoha, who like to wear glitter and makeup. Sakura noticed Nariko glaring at Sasuke. "Hey, you new girl. Don't glare at my Sasuke," yelled Sakura. "Yeah, if you glare at Sasuke, I'll wipe the floor with you, bitch," shouted Ino. A mob of Sasuke fangirls were ready to start a riot until Nariko said, "I don't get he can't belong to all of you, so who does Sasuke belong to?" "Me," shouted all the fangirls. They all turned to glare at each other. "He's mine," they all shouted, then jumped on each other and started a huge bitch fight. Nariko's sweat dropped. "Okay." The teacher walked in. Seeing the bitch fight, he blew a blowhorn. When everyone was quiet, he coughed and said, "Everyone return to their seats. We have a new student today. Please try to be nice to Miss Nariko Uzumaki." "Miss Uzumaki, could you come up to the front please?" asked the teacher. Nariko ignored the glares the Sasuke fan club girls were giving her. She stepped to the front giving a big smile. "Tell us a little about yourself." "Well, my birthday is on October 10th. My favorite food is ramen. My favorite color is orange. Favorite animal is a fox, and my best friends are Dokuro Makiguchi, Junko Yukita, and Katona Umeki," explained Nariko, still smiling. The teacher smiled. "Lovely Miss Uzumaki. Please return to your seat." Nariko returned to her seat happily. She looked down to her timetable on her desk. Monday. Period 1. Sports. Cool. Period 2. Science. Science after PE. How cruel can they be? Oh well, maybe I can catch some sleep in that class. Break time. Period 3. Art. I like to draw foxes. Is that the same as art? Lunchtime. Best time to the day. Period 4. History. Whoopee. Nothing like another nap in the afternoon. Period 5. Cooking. I hope we make ramen. Hey Hinata, what do you have now? Asked Nariko. I have history. Oh, do you know where the sports changing rooms are? Hinata was about to answer, until someone interrupted her. "Hinata," said a boy coming up to them both. "Nay, Neji. Is this a friend of yours?" He immediately asked. Yes, this is Nariko Uzumaki. Nariko, this is my cousin Neji." "Hi," smiled Nariko. "What's your first period? Maybe I can help you," said Neji. Sports," said Nariko, not liking this boy's attention. "Me, too, I'll take you to the changing rooms," said Neji, putting his arm around Nariko's shoulders. Okay, yeah. See you later, Hinata," said Nariko, waving goodbye to Hinata while she was dragged away by Neji. She did not like the way this guy was holding her. His arm was gripped around Nariko's shoulders and one of his hands was fiddling one of Nariko's yellow locks. "I sure hope we get to the changing rooms soon," thought Nariko. Nariko and Neji finally reached the changing rooms. Thanks for showing me where the changing rooms were," said Nariko. "Now please leave me alone," she thought. "No problem," said Neji. He was leaning down to kiss her, but she was unaware of that since she turned around quickly and her long heavy bag hit him in the chest. "Oomph!" cried Neji, after the bag winded him. He rubbed his sore chest and muttered, "What does she have in there?" "Bricks." Uruka always told her she shouldn't trust boys because they only wanted one thing and one thing only. Only thing is she never told her what that thing is. Irritate. Nariko opened her bag. The other girl's sweat dropped. Why do you have bricks in your bag?" "Oh, I read somewhere you need self-protection when you're going alone somewhere. So you put bricks in your bag?" Nariko nodded. The girls fell down. After they got dressed, they ran to the sports hall, where their fat sports teacher Mrs. Mutton was waiting. "Well dears, good morning and," she looked at Nariko. "Nariko dear, what are you wearing?" she asks. Nariko was wearing an orange shirt with a fox on the front and baggy shorts. "I thought it looked cute," smiled Nariko. Yes, well, dear, you should buy the proper sports uniform, but since you're new, I'll let it slide. She coughed and turned to the rest of the girls. Now, girls, as I was saying, the boys will be joining us today, so do your best. The boys arrived in the sports hall, ran into the sports hall, they lined up army style. Their teacher paced up and down the line. He looks weird, that teacher has bushy caterpillar eyebrows, thought Nariko. All right, men, go and enjoy your youth. Oh, and air, try not to be too hard on the girls, right? Right, Mr. Guy, East, bastard, thought Nariko angrily. Neji was one of he boys in the line. When he spotted Nariko, he winked at her. She gave the boy a confused look. Okay, now, boy versus girls, race around the hall. Now, shouted Mrs. Mudden shouted. Disclaimer. I do not own Naruto. Chapter 2. Nariko and Neji finally reached the changing rooms. Thanks for showing me where the changing rooms were, said Nariko. Now please leave me alone, she thought. No problem, said Neji. He was leaning down to kiss her, but she was unaware of that since she turned around quickly and her long heavy bag hit him in the chest. Oomph, cried Neji, after the bag winded him. He rubbed his sore chest and muttered, what does she have in there? Bricks. Uruka always told her she shouldn't trust boys because they only wanted one thing and one thing only. Only thing is she never told her what that thing is. Nariko opened her bag. The other girl sweat dropped. Why do you have bricks in your bag? Oh, I read somewhere you need self-protection when you're going alone somewhere. So you put bricks in your bag? Nariko nodded. The girls fell down. After they got dressed, they ran to the sports hall, where their fat sports teacher Mrs. Mudden was waiting. Well, dears, good morning, and, she looked at Nariko. Nariko dear, what are you wearing? She asks. Nariko was wearing an orange shirt with a fox on the front and baggy shorts. I thought it looked cute, smiled Nariko. Yes, well, dear, you should buy the proper sports uniform, but since you're new, I'll let it slide. She coughed and turned to the rest of the girls. Now, girls, as I was saying, the boys will be joining us today, so do your best. The boys arrived in the sports hall, ran into the sports hall, they lined up army style. Their teacher paced up and down the line. He looks weird, that teacher has bushy caterpillar eyebrows, thought Nariko. All right, men, go and enjoy your youth. Oh, and air, try not to be too hard on the girls, right? Right, Mr. Guy, East, bastard, thought Nariko angrily. Neji was one of he boys in the line. When he spotted Nariko, he winked at her. She gave the boy a confused look. But their expressions were interrupted by Mrs. Mudden. Mr. Guy, how dare you? Shouted Mrs. Mudden, whacking him around the head. Everyone exchanged frightened glances to each other. You shouldn't be teaching your students to be so east, muttered Mrs. Mudden. No buts. Okay, now, boy versus girls, race, end of the hall. Now, shouted Mrs. Mudden shouted. After race, the girls won, shouted Mrs. Mudden. No, they didn't, the boys did, argued Mr. Guy. Well, actually, interrupted Nariko. We kinda finished at the same time, so wouldn't that make it a tie? Mr. Guy coughed. Yes, well, we'll beat you next time, cried Mr. Guy, leaving with his students. Ha, you wish, shouted Mrs. Mudden. After sports, Nariko had to find the science lab. She bumped into someone along the way though. Oh, sorry. Nariko quickly apologized. You should watch where you're going, Dobie, said the smooth voice. Nariko looked up to see who it was. It was Sasuke, with the cold look on his face. This guy really is a bastard, thought Nariko. Hey Tem, I apologized. Maybe you should look where you're going. I mean, who gives you the right to treat people like that? She shouted, poking him in the chest. At least my hair doesn't look like a chicken's butt, yelled Nariko. She was red in the face, and a couple people stared at her in her outburst. My hair looks like a chicken's butt, thought Sasuke in disbelief. But he suddenly got amused by Nariko expressions. Sasuke smirked. Hey Dobi, said Sasuke trying to get her attention. Don't call me that. You've got science right. Nariko slowly nodded. Yes. Then hurry up you. Don't want to be late for our lesson do you? He said smirking as he walked away. Did he say, our lesson? She thought horrified. Okay class, I'm Mr. Starks, your new science teacher, and pair you into partners. Said Mr. Starks. Ah. Why? Said a student from the back. To prevent arguments, now. Choji and Shino, Shikamaru and Kiba, Neji and Tenten. Guess I can't get close to Nariko, thought Neji. Sakura and, please let it be Sasuke, thought Sakura. Ino. What? Ino and Sakura shouted. Why do I have to work with that pig? Yelled Sakura. Do I have to work with someone with such a large forehead? Roared Ino. Calm down the both of you. Or it'll be detention, shouted Mr. Starks. Sasuke and Nariko. Oh great, thought Nariko sarcastically. A little later. It goes like this Dobi, said Sasuke. Listen Tem, who gives you the right to boss me around? Shouted Nariko. Because I know about this more than you, smirked Sasuke. Humph. Nariko finally did what Sasuke said, but in the process got her hand a little too close to the Bunsen burner. Ow. What is it? Asked Sasuke. His back was turned so he didn't see what happened. Oh nothing, said Nariko putting her burnt hand behind her back, and giving him a fake smile. He took hold of her wrist, looked at her burn and said, I don't call that not nothing. He led her hand to a nearby sink and let cold water run over the burn. That should make it better, Dobi, he said. I don't need your help. Snapped Nariko. You too stubborn for your own good, thought Sasuke. Sure you don't, he smirked. Meanwhile, Ino and Sakura were EAVS dropping on Nariko and Sasuke. She's throwing herself all over him, said Ino angrily. Cha, if she tries anything with my Sasuke she's dead, shouted inner Sakura. Sasuke was still holding Nariko's hand under the cold tap. But, someone bumped Nariko. And her lips meet his by accident. Oh no, my first kiss ruined, thought Nariko, immediately breaking the kiss. Cha, I was meant to be Sasuke's first kiss. Nariko will pay for this, shouted inner Sakura. Oh. Nariko muttered as she realized she was receiving glares from most of the girls in the class. I'm so dead. Neji scowled at the sight of Nariko and Sasuke kissing. I was the one who meant to kiss her, he muttered. Sasuke was slightly shocked. Nariko had kissed him. Okay, maybe it wasn't on purpose, but the weirdest thing was he liked it. He glanced over at Nariko, who was on the other side of the classroom, in her original seat. He only just managed to hold down a blush. She's different from the other girls, he thought. The bell rang. Nariko quickly hidden under the desk. When she was sure everyone left the classroom, she sneaked out of the classroom, hoping that no one will see her. She was successful until, there she is, yelled an angry voice. Nariko's head snapped around to see a mob of angry girls. How dare you kiss Sasuke? Shouted another girl. Ha ha ha. Come on girls, it was an accident, you can understand that can't ya? Said Nariko, praying they will show mercy. Pause. Nariko, said Sakura, as she cracked her knuckles. You are so dead. Get her. The angry mob chased Nariko down the hall. Nariko ran for her dear life. She ran and she ran, hoping she could outrun them. But no. They cornered her. Ack. They're going to beat me up, thought Nariko, giving a panicked look on her face. One of the girls raised their fists to punch Nariko square in the face. What do you think you're doing? Asked a cold voice. Everyone stopped what they were doing. The girl who was about to punch Nariko let her fist freeze in midair. It was Sasuke. Sasuke. It isn't what it looks like, muttered Sakura. I think I know exactly what's going here, growled Sasuke, giving Sakura a very cold glare. He looks angry, thought Nariko. The girl mob ran away. Sasuke looked down at Nariko. TCH. You should really be more careful, Dobi, muttered Sasuke. I don't need your help, snapped Nariko, but Sasuke was already gone. Nariko sighed. I'm having a crappy day today, she thought. Beep. Beep. My cell phone, muttered Nariko. Her cell phone was orange with fox ears on the top. Hello, answered Nariko. Hey, said a very moody voice. By that voice she knew it was Dokuro, one of her best friends. Oh hi, Dokuro, Nariko said happily. I wanted to see how things were going at your first day, said Dokuro in a neutral voice. Oh, it's going, cough okay. I wanted to make sure you were okay. I heard there are some bitches at that school. Tell me about it, she gasped, realizing her mistake. Are some girls giving you trouble? Said Dokuro in an angry tone. Though Nariko knows that means she's worried. No, because if they are, give the word and I'll sort them out. Don't worry, Dokuro, I'm okay, reassured Nariko. I'll tell her later, thought Nariko. Okay. Well, see ya, Nariko, I'll tell Junko and Katona you're alright, they're worried about you too, said Dokuro. I've got to go, Dokuro, I'll get into trouble if anyone sees me with a cell phone. Bye. Nariko sighed. Dokuro, Junko and Katona were friends since they were 8. When Iruka let her go to high school she was excited she was going to be educated with them, but of course, story of her life wasn't smart enough to go to a private school. At lunch, Nariko sat next to Hinata, a worried look crossed Nariko's features. What's wrong, Nariko? Asked Hinata, concerned. Iruka's really bad at cooking and I'm wondering if the food she made me is to eat, muttered Nariko. Nariko opened the bag and a foul stench whisked past Hinata's and Nariko's noses. They both coughed, eyes watering. She's given me sardine sandwiches. They're way past their expiration date, screeched Nariko. Don cuffed, eat them, muttered Hinata, her hand covering her nose. Nariko snapped the bag closed. Gross. I'm throwing this away, sighed Nariko. Nariko bumped into someone along the way. Oh sorry. Clumsy me, smiled Nariko. She looked who she bumped into. It was a boy with no eyebrows, red hair, green eyes, and the symbol love on his forehead. He didn't say anything, he just kept staring at her. Well, sorry, said Nariko, walking away to the bin. But she can still feel his eyes boring into her. Wow, he's creepy, thought Nariko. Ino strutted towards her. Hey you owe me big time for kissing Sasuke, so in favor. She snatched the bag from Nariko's hand. You give me your lunch, smirked Ino. Ino, I think that's a really bad idea, muttered Nariko. But too late. Ino didn't seem to notice the smell and took a bite out the sandwich. Ino turned into a pale shade of green and instantly went to the bin to puke. Urrghhh, roared Ino when she stopped puking. Nariko once again ran for her dear life. Here we go again, she muttered. Ino shouted, running after her. But stopped suddenly when she was drenched with cold water. Cried Ino as she ran to get her clothes dry. Nariko was confused until she saw the boy she met in the lunch hall, with a mop bucket, probably from the cleaners. Oh, thanks, said Nariko, straightening herself up. The boy nodded. And what's your name? Asked Nariko. Gaara. Right. I'm Nariko, smiled Nariko. He was just staring at her. You don't say much, do you? Nariko stated. Quote. Okay. Thanks, Gaara. I'll be seeing you later, said Nariko, immediately deciding that it was useless talking to him. However, Sasuke was watching both Gaara and Nariko. He saw Ino chase her out of the lunch hall, and decided to stop Ino in case she beats her up. But when he saw Nariko smile at Gaara he couldn't help but feel jealous. She never smiles at me, he thought bitterly. As Nariko walked away, however, She slipped on the wet floor Gaara spilt on Ino. She skidded head first into a wall, knocking her out. A teacher, with silver hair and a mask covering part of his face, spotted the two boys and a knocked-out Nariko. "If you two don't mind, help me carry he to the nurse's office," he said in a mutual tone. "Don't worry boys, she'll be all right, the nurse has called her guardian to take her home," said Kakashi. Sasuke and Gaara left the room together. Neji rushed to the nurse's office, and meet Sasuke and Gaara along the way. "Hey, guys, I heard Nariko had an accident," exclaimed Neji. "Yeah, she's in the nurse office, right now," sighed Sasuke. Neji glared at Sasuke. "How did that happen, Uchiha?" he asked rudely. "She slipped on a wet floor," Gaara answered. "She's clumsy but there's something special about her," thought Gaara. "I'll make sure nothing bad happens to her again," thought Sasuke. "She's so innocent, I've never felt this way before," thought Neji. The bell rang and interrupted their thought. Everyone walked to their classes. Kakashi was leaning on a wall reading his book, Come Paradise. It was his break, and this is how he was going to spend it. Until someone came walking down the hallway. A woman with tan skin and chocolate brown hair tied back. Kakashi could have sworn she was an angel. "Well, hello, what have we here?" he thought to himself. He was really hoping she was a new teacher here, but wait. She was walking towards him. He quickly shoved his Come Paradise book into his jacket. Excuse me, sir. I'm Aruka Yumino. My child Nariko is in the nurse's office and I'm here to take her home. Do you know where it is?" she asked. So she's Nariko's guardian, thought Kakashi. "Why yes, I helped carry her there. I'll show you where it is," said Kakashi, hoping his charm will work on her. Every now and then he glanced at Aruka. "Aruka means dolphin, she's my lovely dolphin," he thought. He then noticed her ponytail. How he wished he could pull it out and fiddle with her lovely long locks. Aruka noticed how the man kept glancing at her. "This man seems strange, I bet he's a pervert too. I hope he doesn't teach Nariko," she thought, trying to avoid eye contact. "Here we are, lovely lady," said Kakashi at the nurse's office. Thanks. Mr. Hatake, but you may call me Kakashi," smiled Kakashi, practically jumping. She asked him his name. "Right. Kakashi. See ya," she said, a little stunned. "Aruka?" asked Nariko. "Hey, I've come to take you home," smiled Aruka. "On my first day. Really, it's been a really crappy day," exclaimed Nariko. "Yeah, it's always tough on the first day," sighed Aruka. She smiled at Nariko. At first she took her in out of pity, but over time she loved Nariko as if she really was her daughter. Kakashi was in his empty classroom dreaming of his lovely dolphin Aruka. Kakashi's dream. Kakashi was on a beach, watching the sun setting, until he heard a voice. Kakashi, it sang. He turned around and saw a mermaid. "My lovely dolphin, come to watch the sunset with me?" he asked, smiling under his mask. She nodded and blushed. She sat herself down next to him. She laid her head on his shoulder. They watched the sunset a few minutes until he turned to Mermaid Aruka and said, "You should keep your hair down." He then kissed her passionately. "Oh Kakashi," she cried and kissed him back. Mr. Hatake? Asked a bewildered student. "No need to be shy, my lovely dolphin," sighed a dreaming Kakashi. Sir," said a student. Cried Kakashi, finally waking up. Mr. Hatake, class started 15 minutes ago, said another bewildered student. Huh, oh, right. Cough turned to pages 115 to 116, and read that chapter while I read my book, stated Kakashi, pulling out his book, Come Paradise. "Oh, where's Nariko Uzumaki?" asked the history teacher. "She knocked herself out and got taken home," said Sasuke in a moodle tone. Is she alright? Asked a concert Hinata. Sasuke nodded, not seeming to care at all. Oh, we have homework today, sighed the history teacher. He pointed to Sasuke. Uchiha, you bring her homework, he said, and got on with his lesson. Oh, you poor thing, Sasuke, cried Sakura. Yeah, you have to bring that annoying thing, it's homework, Ino agreed. Sasuke didn't like Ino calling Nariko a thing. The only things that are annoying around here is you two, said Sasuke, giving them both an icy glare. Sakura and Ino retreated back to their seats. Rather than being hated by Sasuke, they kept quiet. Her homework, thought Sasuke. Are you sure you okay? Asked a worried Junko. Yes, I'm fine honestly, exclaimed Nariko. Her best friends Junko, Dokuro and Katona had rushed round her house when they heard she had an accident. They all loved Nariko like a younger sister, and Nariko felt the same. She liked them all because they were so different. Like Dokuro, she wears any clothing she has at least on skull on it, and it's either green or black. Kinda of strange she likes skulls since her name means skull, but seriously, why her parents named her that Nariko will never know. And Junko, who is a little more humble, she's like the neutering elder sister, who gives her advice and stuff, and she always wears dresses. And Katona, whose biggest dream in life is to be a rock star. And she has done a couple of performances and she is pretty talented. But has a soft spot for chicken noodles like Nariko has a soft spot for ramen. After she told them what happened, Dokuro and Katona were incredibly angry. I'll kill those as bitches who tried to beat you up, shouted Dokuro. Yeah, and I'll back you up, yelled Katona. Guys, you don't have to do that, muttered Nariko. What did you do to make them angry? Asked Junko, concerned. I accidentally kissed a boy they liked, Nariko said, blushing like a tomato from the embarrassment. Ah, our little baby Nariko is growing up, teased Katona. Looks like someone has a crush, teased Dokuro. Are you kidding? Yelled Nariko. I would never ever have a crush on that TME. Shouted Nariko. Calm down, Will. Yeah. We were only teasing, smiled Katona. The doorbell rang. Nariko got up to answer the door. Honestly, she muttered to herself while answering the door. They're crazy if they think I'd like. Nariko stopped dead when she saw who was at the door. Oh, T-Tem, she stuttered. Dobi, he nodded. T-Tem, stuttered Nariko in disbelief. Dobi, nodded Sasuke. What are you doing here? Bringing you your homework, answered Sasuke, handing it to her. Silence. Who were you talking about? Asked Sasuke. Talking about? How would you know if I was talking about someone? I heard you mumbling to yourself from out here how someone was crazy if they thought you liked someone, but really you need to talk to yourself more quietly before somebody starts to think you're crazy. Anyway, who were you talking about? Nariko pouted. As if that's any of your business, mumbled Nariko. Hey Nariko, who's at the door? Yelled Katona from top of the stairs. No one, he was just leaving. Nariko yelled back, starting to push Sasuke away. But no. Katona, Junko and Dokuro came rushing downstairs when they heard the word, he. Damn their sharp ears, thought Nariko. Sasuke raised his eyebrow at Nariko's strange friends. Sasuke's thoughts on Nariko's friends. One looked like she'd be those girly girl types. Judging by her clothes and makeup, she'd also look like she'd hug and kiss and smother Nariko whenever she'd meet up with her. Maybe an older sister type figure. Junko. Another had pink hair with purple streaks, not pink like Sakura's but bright pink, obviously dyed. She had rock star on her gray t-shirt. She looked so obvious to him that she liked rock music, heck he'd bet she'd wanted to be a rock star. Katona. And the final friend looked creepy, with her black lipstick and her black and green streaked hair. Everything she was wearing had at least one skull on it. And she had a mean look on her face. She'd look like she'd boil him, chew him up and spit him back out if he'd ever hurt Nariko. Dokuro. And who are you? Asked Dokuro rudely. Sasuke Uchiha, he nodded. And he was just leaving. Yelled Nariko, to her friend afraid that they realized he was the one she kissed. And they did. Honestly, Nariko's reactions are too obvious, Katona thought to herself smirking. He the one you were talking about? Asked Dokuro. Sasuke turned to Nariko, eyebrow raised. She immediately avoided his eye-content face red as a tomato. Why don't you come in, Sasuke? Katona gestured, as in a way of teasing Nariko. No, I'm sure Sasuke's got tons to do. Right, Sasuke? Said Nariko. Sasuke smirked and said, well, actually, I don't. I'd love to come in. Gee ga, Nariko mentally screamed. Lying bastard. He's just loving every minute of my humiliation. Come on, we've got some snacks in the kitchen, said Junko cheerfully, dragging Sasuke into the kitchen. You've scored big time, smirked Katona. He looks like a regular ice prince, nodded Dokuro. What are you guys talking about? I'm not interested in that Tem. We're too different, Nariko muttered loudly. Ah, but opposites attract, squealed Katona. Yeah, Nariko, think about it. He's an ice prince, your Princess Sunshine. Maybe you can melt his frozen heart, Dokuro sighed. Nariko had a mental picture of herself in a bright orange dress and a sparkly tiara, and Sasuke in a prince outfit. Well, actually, he would look kinda. She mentally slapped herself. No, stop. I hate him. He hates you. He is never cute. Well, maybe a little. Darn it, she argued with herself. They joined him in the kitchen. So Sasuke, do you have a girlfriend? Said Katona, smiling at Nariko. Nariko seriously wished she could just hit Katona with her endless teasing. I don't have time for such pointless things, Sasuke said coldly. A regular ice prince is right, thought Dokuro. And you're not interested in anyone? Questioned Katona. No, he answered. Like I believe that, thought Katona. Come on guys, we've got to go, said Junko with a disapproving look on her face. Ah, but, Katona was stunned by Junko's scowling face. See ya, Nariko, Sasuke, Dokuro and Junko said. What? They left me alone with gulp him, thought Nariko. You can go home if you want, said Nariko, looking in the fridge for some ramen. No, he said simply. What? Why? Exclaimed Nariko. Because you need help with your history homework since you missed the lesson, explained Sasuke. You're just saying that to annoy me, accused Nariko. Sasuke smirked. Don't flatter yourself, it's teacher's orders, he stated. Well, alright, but you have until Iruka gets back, huffed Nariko. Your mother. No guardian. Why, what happened to your pair? Damn it, Sasuke. It's so obvious, he said, mentally slapping himself. Oh, they're dead, answered Nariko, getting the history book out. Let's get this work done, said Sasuke, changing the subject. Nariko nodded. Iruka was in town doing the shopping. She was buying extra ramen for Nariko. She'll love this, she smiled to herself. Kakashi walked out of the Koff magazine shop where he was buying the newest version of Come Come Paradise. That's when he spotted his dolphin Iruka walking out of a supermarket. Well, if it isn't my lovely dolphin, Kakashi said to himself. Now is a perfect time to get friendly with her. There you are, history done and over with, said Sasuke, getting up from his seat. Sasuke, said Nariko, not giving eye contact. What? I just wanted to say, thanks, said Nariko, giving him a small smile. Sasuke was having a hard time not to blush. He didn't notice before because she always frowned at him. But she was absolutely beautiful when she smiled. Her smile to him was like sunshine. And he bet Neji and Gaara noticed this too. Sasuke, said Nariko, unsure why he was staring at her. Hell, I'm having trouble stopping myself from kissing her right now, but no. I've got to more worry about more important things, he thought. I'll see you at school, he said as he left. Nariko nodded. He is the Ice Prince, Nariko said to herself. When he was walking away, she felt herself blush. Gods, why? Why does he make me feel like this? She said to herself. Kakashi tapped Iruka's shoulder. Iruka gave a surprised look on her face. Oh, Kakashi, she said smiling. I was wondering if a lovely lady like yourself needed help carrying those bags. Nariko was asleep until she was awoken by shouting. That sounded like Kakashi, you pervert. The sound of someone being punched. But, goodbye, Mr. Hitaki. The sound of the door being slammed. Nariko looked outside of her bedroom window and saw a silvered-haired, masked man rubbing his face where he just been hit. Isn't he that teacher that carried me to the nurse's office? Nariko thought. Next day at school. Hey Hinata, what class do you have first? Asked Nariko. Science. Oh, I've got English. Well, see ya. When Nariko got into the English room, she saw Kakashi sitting behind his desk, gloomily reading, Come Paradise. Hey, it's that teacher, thought Nariko, taking her seat. Kakashi's face lit up when he saw Nariko. Nariko looked around. Good. Sasuke's not in this lesson, Nariko thought with relief. After Kakashi's class, everyone was getting ready for next lesson, until Kakashi said, Nariko, can I talk you for a minute? Yes, Mr. Hitaki. Call me Kakashi. Silence. Iruka's your guardian, right? Nariko nodded. I was wondering, said Kakashi, rubbing the back of his neck. Yes, if you could help me get on a date with her. Nariko was surprised. You have a crush on Iruka? Asked Nariko, dumbfounded. Kakashi nodded. Well, will you help me? He asked. Nariko thought about that for a moment. If I help them get together, then Iruka would be dating a teacher. But then again, I haven't seen her had a date ever. Okay, I'll help you, sighed Nariko. Yes. But first, you need to tell what happened last night, huh? Said Nariko, raising an eyebrow. Kakashi rubbed the back of his neck. Well, flashback. Kakashi was helping Iruka carry her bags, and was in front of her house until Kakashi tripped on a rock, sending the bags he was carrying flying through the air. Kakashi managed to grab Iruka's shoulder to balance himself. But, rip. He accidentally ripped her dress top off, him falling flat on his face and revealing Iruka in the middle of the street, in her bra. Her face instantly turned red with embarrassment, and desperately tried to fix her dress. Kakashi scrambled to his feet, trying to hold down a nosebleed at sight. Iruka. Kakashi instantly stopped when he received an evil death glare from Iruka. Kakashi, you pervert. Iruka gave Kakashi a sharp punch in the jaw, sending him to the ground once again. She marched over to her house. But, goodbye, Mr. Hitaki, yelled Iruka, slamming the front door, with a deafening thud. Kakashi got up from his feet slowly. Well, there goes my chance for a good impression, he thought, gloomy. End of flashback. Nariko was desperately trying to hold back a laugh, her face going red, trying to hold it down. No wonder she was so quiet this morning, thought Nariko. Well, you could buy her flowers. Smiled Nariko. Kakashi nodded, scribbling it down. And, apologize, saying you didn't mean to do that, and, to show you're sorry, you'll buy her some ramen and write that in card on, send it to her. Why not tell her in person? Asked Kakashi. Because she's most likely to punch your lights out for that. Nariko ran out the classroom, realizing she'll be late for her next class. Art. Okay, class, said Miss Yuhi, clapping her hands together. We've got 2 new students. 2, thought Nariko. Nariko Uzumaki and Tai-Lei, introduced Miss Yuhi. Nariko looked behind her and saw a girl with black hair tied back in a ponytail, apple green eyes, an apple green choker around her neck, 2 black arm warmers, black capri pants, apple green shirt and apple green boots. So that's Tai-Lei, thought Nariko. So that's Nariko. She looks like a blonde idiot, thought Tai Lei. Hey you two, why don't you come up to the front and introduce yourselves, suggested Miss Yuhi. Again, thought Nariko. Miss Uzumaki, you go first, Miss Yuhi. Nariko gave a small smile and walked to the front of the class. Okay. She breathed in deeply. I like the color orange foxes and ramen. Nariko said really quickly. The class blinked. Miss Yuhi sweat dropped. Wow. I didn't know anyone can talk faster than a car, smirked Tai Lei. The class chuckled. Nariko glared at Tai Lei. Tai Lei got in front the class, and cleared her throat. Hey, I'm Tai Lei. My favorite colors are light green and black. I love art and I hate pink, explained Tai Lei. She sounds interesting. Let's see if I can make friends with her, thought Nariko. Hi, I'm Nariko, said Nariko. Yeah, I heard, responded Tai Lei, irritably. What a jerk, thought Nariko. She is a blonde idiot, thought Tai Lei. At the ramen shop, Kakashi was waiting at the ramen shop. He looked at his watch. Iruka was meant to be here half an hour ago. He sighed and got up to leave, but then he saw Iruka. He smiled underneath his mask. But her face remained emotionless. He sat down to the seat next to him. Kakashi was waiting at the ramen shop. He looked at his watch. Iruka was meant to be here half an hour ago. He sighed and got up to leave, but then he smiled underneath his her face remained emotionless. He sat down to the seat next to him. So you're sorry, are you? She asked, not looking at him. Yes, I'm really sorry, he said. Silence. Iruka? Asked Kakashi, concerned. She turned towards him, with a small smile on her face. Okay, I'll forgive. Yes. If you buy me some ramen. Kakashi nodded, feeling that he was the happiest man on earth at that moment. After art class, Tai Lei was walking to her next class, until Nariko caught up with her. Hey, Tai Lei, asked Nariko shyly. Tai turned towards her. I think we got on the wrong foot and Nariko started but was interrupted by a loud voice. There she is. Nariko turned round and saw the mob of angry Sasuke fangirls. Sasuke isn't here to protect you now, said an outraged fangirl. Nariko jumped on Tai Lei, who caught her. Protect me, Nariko cried. You are an idiot, sighed Tai Lei. They looked towards the fangirls who were coming closer. You know what we've gotta do, right? Said Nariko. Right. Run. They both cried, as Tai Lei ran off, still carrying Nariko, while the fangirls ran after them. Tai Lei panted, carried Nariko, running away from the angry mob of girls. You know, you're damn heavy for a girl, said Tai Lei, annoyed. What's that supposed to mean? Nariko glared at her. Quick, get them, shouted a fangirl. You're really hated at that school, aren't you? Sighed Tai Lei. Let's just say we got on the wrong foot. You get on the wrong foot with everybody. I know. Quick. Round the corner. Right. OWW. They both shrieked as they collided in a group of boys. Nariko looked up and saw some really strange guys, like a guy with a Venus flytrap on his head. A guy with 2 mouths on his hands. Whoa. When did the circus came to town? Oops. She clapped her hands over her mouth, realizing her mistake. What? Yelled one of them. Nariko gulped and smiled nervously. Heh. Did I say that out loud? OWW, said Tai Lei, picking herself up. She looked up at the gang of boys and said. Whoa, what's that? Shrieked Nariko, noticing Kisame. I thinks it's a fish, replied Tai Lei. Looks more of a shark to me, answered Nariko. Kisame gave an annoyed look about the two girls arguing about what species he was. Correction, said Tai Lei, getting out a large piece of paper from her pocket, and a black marker pen. A shark equals a fish, therefore he's a fish, said Tai Lei, drawing a shark and an equals sign and a fish. A mutant fish, and I know how to make one, said Nariko, grabbing the pen from Tai Lei. The Akatsuki gang's sweat dropped as they witnessed this. A shark plus a human equals one hideous, weird, freaky fish baby, smiled Nariko, also drawn a calculation, like Tai Lei. Tai Lei had a look of horror on her face. Okay, I have really bad mental images, she exclaimed. Kisame coughed, getting both of their attention. Pause. I'll enjoy shaving you two to death, he said simply. Nariko squeaked and hid behind Tai Lei. Oh yeah, exclaimed Tai Lei. I like to you get your hands on me, pal. That came out really wrong. There they are, yelled a fangirl. Not again. Tai Lei huffed angrily. She pushed through the Akatsuki gang and hid Nariko in a corner. You stay here, Tai Lei said sternly. Nariko nodded. Tai Lei marched up to the mob of angry girls who stopped at halt. The Akatsuki gang stepped to the side, deciding to watch this commotion. Now listen here, you weird girls. I'm sure whatever Nariko did, she is very sorry. Tai Lei turned to Nariko. Right, you're very sorry, aren't you? Nariko nodded repeatedly. See, apology given now, bye bye. We'll never forgive for what she did, yelled Ino. Cha, she'll pay for what she did, yelled Sakura. What exactly did she do? Asked Tai Lei, raising her eyebrow. She kissed Sasuke, shrieked Sakura. Itachi raised his eyebrow at this and looked over to Nariko. So she's kissed my brother, has she? His first kiss, no doubt, thought Itachi. Who? Asked Tai Lei. Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha, exclaimed Ino. Sorry, never heard of him, sighed Tai Lei. You've never heard of Sasuke Uchiha? Yelled the M0 of girls, making Tai Lei wince. I've only came to this school today. For all I know, that blonde dude over there could look better than him, exclaimed Tai Lei, pointing to Deidara, who instantly turned red. Eek! That guy has extra mouths, yelled a girl from the crowd. Where? On his hands, yelled another girl. Deidara sighed and showed his palms to the girls, which indeed had mouths on them. Nariko shrieked when she saw them. But Tai Lei had a different reaction. Ah! They're so cute, squeaked Tai Lei. The mob of girls fell down. Cute. They're not. They're gross, shrieked Nariko, moving up to Tai Lei. No, they're not, they're cute, argued Tai Lei, who turned her attention to Nariko. Gross, shouted Nariko. Cute, argued Tai Lei. Gross. Cute. The mob and watched them argue, like a tennis match. Ino coughed, gaining their attention. Let's get to the important stuff, here, like how we're going to punish Nariko for kissing Sasuke, yelled Sakura, making Nariko crawl back to the corner she was hiding in. Tai Lei lifted the front of Ino's shirt and slammed her into a wall. Discover more anime and manga, TV show guides, anime merchandise. Listen, you blonde idiot. If you don't leave Nariko alone, she punched the wall very near Ino's ear, making a hole there. That will happen to your face. She spat angrily. Her head spun to the shocked mob of girls. She dropped Ino, making her land on her butt. The same goes for all of you, she growled dangerously. Run away, yelled Sakura, and with that they scampered off down the halls. Tai Lei sighed and gave a small smile to Nariko. You okay? She asked kindly. My hero, squealed Nariko, leaping up and squeezing Tai Lei in a tight hug. Ack, get off of me. Geez, you're like some hermit crab. Get off, get off, get off, yelled Tai Lei, hoping to make Nariko release her. Nariko let her go and gave her a huge smile, making Tai Lei less irritated with her. They turned to leave, but the Akatsuki gang blocked their way. Well, we're sorry for disruption, but we'll be on our way now, said Tai Lei, walking past the Akatsuki gang, but Itachi grabbed Nariko's scruff of her shirt and Deidara grabbed Tai Lei's scruff of her shirt, lifting them both in midair. Nariko started to kick and squeal, so did Tai Lei. Hey, let go, shouted Tai Lei. Hey buddy, if you don't let go, I'll kick your butt, yelled Nariko. This seemed to amuse Itachi. Hey, why didn't you threaten those girls like that? Asked Tai Lei. I didn't want to cause trouble, Nariko smiled sweetly. A little late for that. Anyway, can you put us down now? Tai Lei asked Deidara. No way, hemp. You're in Akatsuki territory, answered Deidara. If you don't, I'll do something you'll dearly regret, warned Tai Lei. Like what? Hemp. Like this. Tai Lei kicked Deidara hard in the chest, who instantly dropped her. Nariko did the same, but in a more sensitive area. Even Itachi felt that, who also dropped her. They quickly ran away. Nice aim, Nariko, praised Tai Lei, who ran beside her. Whoa, yelled Nariko, they nearly collided into someone in the hall. Watch where you're going, Dobi, said the boy. Teme, yelled Nariko, who realized it was Sasuke. Who's he? Asked Tai Lei. He's one that caused all the trouble with the girls, meet him and his chicken butt hair. Snarled Nariko. It looks more of a turkey-ass hair, responded Tai Lei. Sasuke's sweat dropped. What's is it with people and referring my hair with birds' butts? Thought Sasuke. No, chicken butt, argued Nariko. No, turkey ass, argued Tai Lei. Chicken, turkey, chicken, turkey. Sasuke sighed. He was used to girls arguing about him, but not like this. He left the two girls to argue about his hair, without him. Sasuke sighed. He was taking the day off because he was ill, due to Junko's snacks back at Nariko's home. Darn those snacks, he thought. Flashback. Junko emptied out a bag of potato snacks into the bowl, but she didn't notice the bag of potato chips were out of date 2 months ago. Sasuke didn't bother to look at the snacks. His gaze was on the door, waiting for Nariko to arrive. He dipped his hands into the potato snacks and ate the green moldy potato chips. This tastes strange, he thought. End flashback. Bored, he didn't feel like going downstairs watching TV and turned on the radio in his room. Oh, the days when we just played. Back in school, just me and you. Oh, I can't forget you now. What am I supposed to do? TCH. Girl song. Hashtag we can be just more than friend. When you smile, the sky turns blue. Nariko. Why does that remind me of her? I do love you. And do you love me too? Sasuke's sweat dropped, and changed the radio station. Hashtag she loves me not. Sasuke let out a frustrated growl. Nariko, I hate you for making me feel this way. He changed the station again. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? An anger mark appeared on his forehead. He changed the station again. Leave me alone, stupid love songs. Exactly how I feel. Hey, don't make me think about her smile. That reminded him of Nariko. What's with all the stupid love songs? He changed the station again. Hey, it's me, Konoha's radio announcer Russell Chisaman. Everyone should know next Monday is Valentine's Day. That's why. Someone knocked on his bedroom door. I thought I told the servants not to bother me. And now over to Weird Eddie and his weird choice of songs. Sasuke answered the door, ready to give an angry scowl at the person who bothered him, but he didn't expect his brother. Itachi yelled in shock. Hello, little brother, Itachi said smoothly. How did you get in? Sasuke yelled furiously. Your maid let me in. What, I'm not allowed to see my own little brother? I'll have to fire her. Sasuke thought furiously. What have I done to make you hate me? His older brother asked in fake innocence. Sasuke was interrupted by the radio and its loud bursting song. An evil pickle killed your family. An evil pickle killed your friends. An evil pickle killed your acquaintances. An evil pickle killed people you don't know. Well, that just about covers it. Got the song from an AMV anime music video. Sasuke's sweat dropped and turned off the radio. Itachi, get out, you're not welcome, said Sasuke sternly. Alright, said Itachi, turning to leave. He suddenly turned back to Sasuke. Oh, now I remember. I've met this yellow-haired girl in the hall you're familiar with. Sasuke's eyes narrowed at Itachi. You like her? Itachi asked, loving the reaction on Sasuke. Sasuke didn't respond. I take that as a yes, smirked Itachi. Silence. She's very beautiful. You're lucky. I wouldn't mind having her for. Stay away from Nariko, snapped Sasuke. Easy, don't act so possessive, because this week, starting from tomorrow, every boy has a chance with her, Itachi sighed. What do you mean? Asked Sasuke, confused and worried but didn't show it. Tomorrow is the Valentine's Week lottery, and if you're not there tomorrow, you can't be in the draw. Itachi left his brother alone in his room. What? Thought Sasuke. Back at school, all the classes was interrupted by the principal's announcement. Good afternoon, students. I am Principal Goodblossom, and I am here to announce tomorrow is Valentine's Week, and that includes the weekend. The students started to groan. And those who don't participate will be giving my grandmother a sponge bath. The students were silent. That is all. Nariko was in history with Hinata, and turned to her. Valentine's Week. Oh, it's when all the boys and all the girls have their name in a lottery draw each day. The girls' names are first, whoever the boy name is she has to be with for the rest of the day, explained Hinata. What if you don't like that guy? It's never come up. Neji gazed at Nariko. I hope I go with her, he thought. Gaara was in science, dissecting a frog. This is the perfect chance for me and Nariko, he thought. Sakura jumped with glee. This is the perfect chance for me and Sasuke, she cried. Wrong. Forehead. This is the chance for Sasuke and me. You'll probably with Kisame, yelled Ino. Sakura shuddered at the thought of her and Kisame. Yeah, right. You'll probably be with Zetsu, replied Sakura. And hopefully get eaten, continued Sakura. Ino and Sakura instantly started a huge bitch fight, once again. Oh, what will tomorrow bring? Kakashi thought to himself, watching his students cause a riot. After yesterday, everyone was either excited or nervous of the Valentine's Week lottery, excited they'd get someone they'd think are hot, nervous of getting someone they hate. Tai certainly wasn't looking forward to the Valentine's Week lottery. I'm not looking forward to this lottery, Tai said to Nariko, putting her bag in her locker. Yeah, I mean the guy the first could be paired up with might be a pervert. Yeah, and he could try to do something to me and. Nariko, are you listening to me? Yeah, answered Nariko, who was looking inside her jacket, and not listening. Tai noticed someone strange. Her jacket was wriggling. What's in the jacket? Asked Tai, curious. Nothing, squeaked Nariko, immediately shutting her jacket. But a tiny head popped out from the neck hole of her jacket. It was a fox cub. I don't call that nothing. Nariko, why do you have a baby fox in your jacket? Asked Tai, folding her arms. Well, you see, I found Kyuubi on my way home. Flashback. Nariko was walking home from school, until she heard a cry of pain near some bushes. In the bushes she saw a beautiful red baby fox, with 9 tails. One of its tails was trapped inside a beer can. Poor thing, pitied Nariko. She gently helped get its tail out of the beer can. The baby fox licked her whiskered cheek. She giggled. Ah, aren't you cute? I wanna keep you. Now what can I name you? How about Ramen? Suggested Naruto. The baby fox growled as if to say, no way am I gonna be named that. Okay, no, maybe. Kyuubi. For some reason I've always liked that name. Kyuubi licked her cheek again. End flashback. Ah, I see. I once taken in a wounded magpie home, but why the hell did you bring it to school? Yelled Tai. Good thing the hallway was empty. I couldn't leave her all alone. Besides, Iruka would never let me keep her, said Nariko, bringing out puppy dog eyes at Tai. How are you sure it's not a boy? Have you checked? Asked Tai. Nariko shook her head, wondering what she meant. What's that? HMN? Asked a voice behind Tai Lei. It was Akatsuki gang member Deidara. Deidara saw Kyuubi, and reached out to stroke Kyuubi, but Nariko shrieked and pulled Kyuubi away from Deidara's reach. Gah! Keep your nasty icky hands away from Kyuubi. I don't want them to bite her precious head off. Shrieked Nariko, cradling Kyuubi. Tai Lei's sweat dropped. Little did Tai Lei and Deidara know that Nariko watched a horror film the other night about a guy who had mouths on his hands that liked to bite animals and kids' heads off, which made Nariko more paranoid about Deidara's hands, but Deidara didn't know that. Deidara gave an annoyed look, eyebrow twitching. Twitch, twitch, twitch. I would not bite animals' heads off. You idiot. Yeah, yelled Deidara. Hey, calm down, will ya? Suggested Tai Lei, knowing Deidara would scare either Nariko or Kyuubi. Nariko backed away, still cradling Kyuubi, but Kyuubi jumped out of Nariko's arms and ran away down the hall. Kyuubi, sobbed Nariko. She gave Deidara an angry glare. Now look what you've done, you scare her away. Nariko ran after Kyuubi. What I've done? HMN, yelled Deidara. Hey, cool it, said Tai Lei, rubbing her temples as he was giving her a headache. It was you and your damn annoyance. Yeah, be quiet, please. It's probably glad it's ran away you. Deidara was cut off by Tai Lei bringing her lips to his. After about 5 seconds she broke the kiss. Deidara's turned a shade of red. Wah, what was that for? He asked. To shut you up, and I guess it worked, said Tai Lei coldly, but also turned a shade of pink. She then ran after her friend. The nine-tailed fox baby kept running down the away from Nariko. Kyuubi, stop. Wait, shouted Nariko. Nariko came to a sudden halt when a certain masked man gently picked Kyuubi from the scruff of the neck. Mr. Kakashi, it isn't what it looks like, squeaked Nariko, turning crimson. Nariko, you do know animals aren't allowed in school, don't you? He asked. Nariko nodded. Kyuubi licked Kakashi's cheek, which probably made Kakashi change his mind about giving Nariko punishment. Well, I guess I'll take care of it then, said Kakashi, walking away with Kyuubi. Hashtag all students report to the main hall. The Valentine's lottery is about to begin. How stupid, said a voice behind Tai Lei. Tai Lei and Nariko turned round and saw a boy that looked stunningly similar to Sasuke. Who are you? Asked Nariko. Sai. He answered. He looked at Nariko up and down. Are you sure you're a girl? He asked her. Yes. Why? Asked Nariko, offended. Well, it looks like you've got know-it-all, flat chest, insulted Sai. A few people who overheard the conversation gasped and took a few steps back. Tai Lei looked to Nariko, unsure of her reaction. Nariko was fuming. What? How dare you? I'll kill you, bastard, screeched Nariko, instantly trying to run towards him so she could scratch his eyes out, but Tai Lei held her back. Everyone stared at Nariko. Hang on, Nariko, struggled Tai Lei, trying to calm down her friend. But Nariko managed to slip out of her grip. Nariko ran towards Sai, kicked him in the stomach and slapped him in the face. Ha, that guy's right. Nariko is flat-chested, sneered Sakura. Nariko went red again, and was seriously about to slap Sakura, until a voice behind Nariko interrupted them. Wait. No fighting in the main hall. Then walked forward an exact replica of Mr. Guy. Dude, what's with that suit? He looks like a weird turtle, thought Tai Lei. Two lovely ladies, like yourselves, shouldn't be fighting, he said dramatically. OMG. Is he flirting with us? Nariko thought, terrified. Who are you? Asked Sakura. I am Rock Lee. Please be my girlfriend, he asked. What? Shrieked Sakura. Nariko tried hard not to laugh. No way, yelled Sakura. Ah. Why? Asked Rock Lee, sounding hurt. Because you look and sound like a freak, shouted Sakura. Nariko did not laugh at that, and then Rock Lee looked at Nariko with a hopeful gleam in his eyes. Eep! Nariko squeaked and ran behind Tai Lei. Rock Lee looked at Tai Lei. She did a defensive stance and muttered, "Back off, buddy." Rock Lee whimpered. Miss Goodblossom coughed, gaining everyone's attention. The lottery will now begin. Everyone heard a rustle of paper. First off, Deidara and Kisame. What? Yelled Too Angry from the crowd. Deidara and Kisame stepped forward. How the hell did I get paired up with him? I'm a guy. Yeah, shouted Deidara. Really? I thought you were a girl, with that hair and face of yours, replied Goodblossom. An anger mark appeared on Deidara and Kisame's forehead. Ino and Shikamaru. Tai Lei and Rock Lee. Ah, no, sobbed Tai Lei. Sakura and Sai. Well, at least he looks like Sasuke, thought Sakura. Nariko and Neji. Yes. Neji mentally screamed. Sasuke and Tenten. Gaara and Tamari. What? Screeched the crowd. I don't get it, what's the biggie? Asked Tai Lei. They're brother and sister, someone muttered. Ew. Squealed Nariko. This is messed up, shouted another voice from the crowd. The luck of the draw, I'm afraid, replied Principal Goodblossom. This is gonna be a long week, muttered Nariko. Nariko sighed and thought, this is gonna be a long week. Not bothering to listening the rest of the people who get paired with, Neji walked over to Nariko. Hey Nariko, where do you want to go? Huh, the school let us wander around the town without any bother, that's why everyone likes this week. Oh, Tai Lei stared at Neji, and noticed how he was eyeing her. Pervert sensors tingling, she thought. So, said Rock Lee, putting his arm around Tai Lei's shoulder. Where do wanna go? I'm gonna tear his arms of and rip off his, that's it. Thought Tai Lei. Rock Lee, do you mind if we go, Nariko? Of course not, darling. Tai Lei forced a smile on her face, which looked very painful. Hey Nariko, how about we go on a double date? Said Tai Lei, much to Neji's dismay. But we haven't decided where to, started Nariko. I know a perfect place to go I know we all will love. Said Tai Lei, dragging Nariko away. Neji and Rock Lee followed. Sasuke was nearby watching. Damn, I didn't get paired up with Nariko. I guess there's 6 more chances. Hello Sasuke, said the girl who he got paired with. Who was called Maiko Seitu, a Sasuke fangirl, who loves dancing, and wears ruby bracelets and earrings that jingle whenever she moves. Hey, where's Tenten? Asked Sasuke. Oh, I swapped dates with her, lied Maiko. That and I threatened to kill her if she didn't swap with me, Maiko thought evilly. Come on, cutie, I know a great place to go, she said, dragging him away by his arm. Hey, I know a great place where you two can go, said a mysterious girl, to Kisame and Deidara. Follow me, my date works there so. Nariko sighed. Wow. Crazy Fox theme park? Asked Neji, raising an eyebrow. Ah, I love foxes, said Nariko. Welcome to Crazy Fox Land, said a mascot. And it started to sing, and it sounded like someone was scratching chalkboard, making everyone wince. My ears. He's making them bleed. Make him stop, cried Tai Lei. Wheel LC Komi to Foxy World. I dance and I sing. It makes your ears ring. Tai Lei gave an angry scowl, and stomped towards the mascot. Right. That's it. I am very funny. I'm only doing it for the money. LAAAAAAOMP. Tai Lei kicked him in a very sensitive area when he fell to the ground. She repeated kicking him, at least 6 times. Okay. Come on, let's go, said Tai Lei, to the others. They could only stare at the fallen mascot as it kept twitching on the ground. Okay. You can open your eyes now, said the mysterious girl. Deidara and Kisame opened their eyes to see a large sign that said, Welcome to Sea World. Deidara was desperately trying to laugh. What the hell? Exclaimed Kisame, an anger mark on his forehead. This was the only way to convince you guys to come. I think you Kisame would make a great attraction. Smiled the mysterious girl. You know you should really back away, miss, warned Deidara. He's unruly when he's off his leash, and you never know when he might snap, continued Deidara. Kisame flashed his sharp teeth, playing Deidara's game. The girl gulped. I'll let you think about it, panicked the girl and rushed away quickly. Come on, let's g. Kisame was interrupted when two kids kept poking him. Is this the new mascot? Asked the first kid. It's ugly, stated the second kid. But it's so lifelike, said the third child. They continued to poke him until he finally snapped. Hey, quit it, you little brats, yelled Kisame. They squealed and ran away. It's AAALLLIVVVEEE. They yelled. Let's go, Deidara, muttered Kisame. However, Deidara grabbed Kisame by the shoulder and said, but I'm hungry. And there's a restaurant right over there. Then Deidara dragged Kisame to the restaurant and ordered an especially extra large seafood range. Kisame felt a bit queasy being in a seafood restaurant. I'm going to the bathroom, muttered Kisame. However, Kisame was not looking where he was going and he walked right into the kitchen. I don't like this, screamed Nariko, for they were on a roller coaster. Here we go, wheezed Rock Lee, as they were heading down a deep slope on the roller coaster. And down they went. Nariko grabbed onto Neji squealing. Neji didn't mind at all. Tai Lei squealed in delight. Muttered Rock Lee, turning a very pale green. Rock Lee turned around and made a huge mess on Tai Lei's new top. Tai Lei had a disgusted and horrified look on her face. Neji looked around to see what was wrong. And Nariko turned green looking at the contents on her shirt. When the roller coaster stopped, Tai Lei gave a hard time to Rock Lee. I cannot believe you puked all over my top. Well, you could have puked over the people in front of us, but no. Geez, I'm sorry. Sorry. The smell will never come out. How about I buy you some new clothes? Suggested Rock Lee. Tai Lei thought for a second. It better not be like that turtle suit you wear. Kisame looked like he was watching a horror film, as he watched the chef. #dum. Oh fish, how I love fish to chop. The chef sliced a fish down harshly. #into severe to eat. First you chop their heads. And you pull out their bones. Kisame paled, and fainted. Thud. The chef looked to see where the noise came from. Oh, looks like I missed one. The chef said to himself. He struggled to lift Kisame, and put him on the cooking table. Big fella, the chef said. The chef was slightly blind, so he didn't notice this. Fish was 2 sizes bigger, had hair and wore clothes. Looks like I've already stuffed this one judging by the weight. How on earth could I miss such a big juicy fish? This won't hurt 'cause you're dead. And you're lucky you are, because you're going in the pot. The chef flipped Kisame in the pot. The piping hot pot burned Kisame's butt. He yelped in pain and jumped out, landing on the table again. What is this? The chef asked, leaning into Kisame's face for inspection. Kisame jabbed the chef's nose. Ow. The chef covered his nose. Kisame tried to escape out of the kitchen, but the chef threw several knives, barely missing his head. No fish has ever escaped me. Kisame ran underneath a shelf that held expensive dishes in it. The chef leapt at him regardless of the shelf. Yihar rgghhh. What are you doing here? Asked Deidara to the mysterious girl that led Kisame and Deidara here. The name's Kim and I work here. My boyfriend's the chef. Smiled the girl. Kim went into the kitchen to give him orders. Okay, Willie. We've got 2 blowfish and she noticed the destroyed kitchen. Where are you? Fight like a man, rambled the chef. Willie. He bumped his head on top of the cupboard at the sound of her voice. What are you doing? She stormed off carrying a large platter on a trolley. Deidara got his special order. Time to dig. Kisame. Kisame was on the platter. What the hell? It was horrible, cried Kisame. Okay, you're embarrassing me. Let's go, said Deidara. I will have my revenge, cried the chef. Yelled Kisame, carrying Deidara, running out of the restaurant. We've gotta get out of here. Whoa, Kisame, slow down, yelled Deidara. Kisame was speeding through Sea World. Meanwhile, in a security room, a large security guard ate his potato in a choji-like fashion. He nearly choked on them when he saw Kisame. He spoke in his walkie-talkie. Guys, I think one of the marine animals have escaped and taken one our visitors hostage. Kisame and Deidara, where's the bloody exit? Screamed Kisame. Kisame, put me down before my hands bite you in a place I don't want to taste. Threatened Deidara. Kisame dropped Deidara. Deidara fell face first onto the floor. What's the big idea? Deidara asked angrily. Kisame dropped to the floor too. Huh. Deidara noticed a big dart in Kisame's butt. Ouch. That's gotta hurt, thought Deidara. We've got him, cried a voice behind Deidara. Deidara turned around to see several security guards surrounding him and Kisame. They started to lift Kisame and take him away to a tank full of water. A security guard put his hand on Deidara's shoulder. Don't worry, miss, you're safe now, said the security guard, smiling. Miss, Deidara thought, eyebrow twitching, anger mark on his forehead. Yeah, that beast taking a lovely young lady such as yourself hostage, it's shameful. What? Screeched Deidara. He got his hands on the man's shoulders and bit him hard. Arggh, yelled the security guard. I am no damsel in distress, yelled Deidara, showing off the mouths on his hands. Deidara didn't notice that the security guards behind him were whispering. He looks like he escaped from the freak show, next to the whale tanks, whispered another security guards. They darted Deidara in the butt, and Deidara once again fell to the floor. With Nariko, Rock Lee, Tai Lei and Neji. Rock Lee bought Tai Lei some new clothes, an apple green tank top, a black mini skirt, and some black leather boots with green ribbons tied to them. Thanks, Lee, nodded Tai Lei, liking her new clothes. A booming voice interrupted their conversation. Roll up, hit the mascot, win a special prize, shouted a man in front of stall. I shall win a prize for my love, declared Rock Lee. Please don't call me your love, ordered Tai Lei. Rock Lee got a baseball and hit one of the mascots instantly in between the eyes. We have a winner, shouted the man, and handed Rock Lee a bottle. Here, my love, said Rock Lee. You keep it, as a thank you gift for the clothes, smiled Tai Lei. Nariko turned to the man in front of the stall. What is that prize anyway? One of the best whiskey in Konoha, beamed the man. Neji gasped. What? Oh no. Lee, don't. Too late. Rock Lee drank the whole bottle. His cheeks suddenly went pink, and he started laughing. He twisted and turned, causing many stares from people passing by. Is that some sort of dance? Asked Nariko, unaware of Lee being drunk. Rock Lee spotted a fox painted on the wall. Bang! He kicked it, making a hole on the wall, and making Nariko gasp. He started screaming that there was an army, and kept attacking every fox he spotted, and in Crazy Fox World there was a lot of foxes. Hashtag please leave the park. Please leave the park. Hash shouted the speakers. Nariko was cross. Hey, Lee, what did foxes ever do to you? Shouted Nariko. Rock Lee turned to her. Tai Lei grabbed her arm and hid behind a wall with Neji. Rock Lee gaze turned towards a couple of mascots, who gulped and started to run fast when Rock Lee started to chase them. Die, evil foxes, slurred Rock Lee, chasing after them. He's a violent drunk, isn't he? Said Tai Lei. Nariko and Neji nodded in agreement. Deidara groaned. He suddenly noticed that he was behind metal bars. He was trapped like an animal. Who the hell did this? I'll kill the asshole. Let me out, roared Deidara, shaking the bars, looking like an angry gorilla. Don't count on it, freak. Those bars are solid steel, murmured a security guard. He did not just call me a freak. That's it. I'll have to use this, thought Deidara, and got out a stick of dynamite and stuck it to the door of the cage, and once again dug in his pocket for a box of matches. 5 seconds later, bang, the cage door blew up. Deidara ran out of the hole of the cage. Now, where's Kisame? Deidara thought to himself. He then noticed a poster that said, "Come see a special performance. Sharkman performance." That'll be him, thought Deidara. Don't bother to hide. I will find you evil foxes. Slurred Rock Lee. Geez. He's knocked out 42 mascots and 10 walls in 10 minutes. Yelled Tai Lei. We've gotta hold him down, we have to distract him, Neji explained. But how? Asked Tai Lei. Tai Lei spotted a Crazy Fox World mascot uniform near them in good condition, and then looked to Nariko. An evil smile formed on her face. Oh Nariko, called Tai Lei sweetly. Bang! A tidal wave swept Sea World. Deidara blew up a whale's tank with his dynamite. Deidara and Kisame safely surfed the tidal wave together. Deidara asked Kisame. Yeah, where did you get all that dynamite? Dynamite is easy to obtain when you dad's in the dynamite business, replied Deidara. Meanwhile with Willy the chef. Gour sass phh. Spluttered Willy, as he raised his head above the water. My restaurant. Ruined. Sobbed Willy, over his flooded. Our restaurant Willy. Some idiot blew up the whale's tank and kidnapped the fishman. Yelled Kim. That fishman. First he escapes my knives, now he floods my restaurant. I will have my revenge. Ranted Willy. Kim whacked Willy around the head. Stop yelling to yourself. People will think you're crazy. Yelled Kim. I can't believe she got me to do this, Nariko whimpered to herself. She shivered in the mascot Tai Lei forced her to wear. Nariko whistled to gain Rock Lee's attention, his head spun around. Hello, this is Crossing Crazy F Fox World, stammered Nariko, then did some kind of hula dance. Rock Lee charged towards her. Evil FOOX. Yelled Rock Lee. Nariko squealed and covered her eyes. Then Neji and Tai Lei jumped Rock Lee before he had a chance to hit her. Go to sleep Rock Lee. Shouted Tai Lei, hitting him sharply in the head, knocking him out. Several hours later at school. Everyone gathered at school, to end their first date. Nariko and Tai Lei stared at a furious Sakura. She was really angry at Sai, for bad-mouthing Sasuke. And another thing, what's with the hair? It looks like a duck's ass. Mocked Sai. Chicken butt. Shouted Nariko. Turkey ass. Yelled Tai Lei. They glared at each other and started to shout. Chicken. Turkey. Shut your mouth you horrible Marone. Screeched Sakura, punching Sai in the jaw, knocking him to the floor. She was going to hurt him more, until Tai Lei held her back. Hey, take it easy, said Tai Lei, holding a screeching Sakura back. Don't stop her Tai Lei, she done the most useful thing I've ever seen her do. Cheered Nariko. Sakura eventually given up trying to attack Sai, and stormed off. I think you're cute when you're angry, smirked Sai, gaining a blush from Tai Lei. But none of them knew that Deidara was close by listening. He glared at Sai, and walked off somewhere. Suddenly, bang, the top of the disco ball exploded, and it was hurtling towards Sai. It hit Sai in the chest and sent him flying into a wall. Sai, screamed a group of girls and gathered round him. Is there anyone that doesn't have a fan club? Asked Tai Lei Sweatdrop, appearing on the side of her head. Deidara sniggered at the fallen Sai. Gaara, Kankuro and Tamari. Hey Tamari, did you enjoy your date with Gaara? Teased Kankuro. Shut up Kankuro, yelled Tamari. I'll feel sorry for the person who was paired up you. She was annoying, she was too squeaky, and her dog keep peeing on my leg. Mumbled Kankuro. Gaara ignored his older sibling's annoying conversation, and kept his focus on Nariko. He then spotted Neji coming over to Nariko. Gaara's eyes widened when he saw Neji try to kiss her, but Tai Lei called Nariko, and Nariko went over to her, making Neji fall to the floor. Oh, dare he even try to kiss her? Thought Gaara, giving Neji a cold hard glare, fist clenched. Nariko woke up. Huh. Nariko looked down and saw that her bed was a double bed, with silky dark purple. She looked around. This isn't my room, she thought. However, it was better than her own bedroom. Soft carpet, silky curtains, potted plants decorating the room. Nice, but whose room is this? Nariko asked herself. Nariko, are you up yet? Asked a voice from the corridor called. The person who called her walked through the door. And he was Neji. Neji, what are you doing here? Neji gave a confused look. I live here with you. We've been living together for 6 months now, remember? He said confused. Are you okay? You're not sick or anything, are you? Nariko didn't say anything, her throat gone dry. Neji, still looking concerned, got out a photo album and set it on the bed. They finally brought our wedding photos, Neji smiled. Nariko gasped. Then looked at her left hand and golden ring around one of her fingers. She gulped and opened the album, not knowing what to expect. And she saw herself in the album, a photo of her a little older and in a white wedding dress. Nariko squeaked, a little scared. What wrong? Asked Neji, concerned. Nariko shook her head repeatedly as if to say, nothing's wrong. Have you hit your head or something? Neji asked, crawling onto the bed to put his hand on her forehead. Nariko blushed furiously. You don't have a fever, but whatever's wrong, get well soon, okay? Neji said soothingly. He kissed her forehead, working his way down, making Nariko blush like a tomato. End of Dreamscape. Nariko woke up, for real this time, to find Kyuubi licking her face to wake her up. The nose, the cheeks, the mouth, you get the picture. Kyuubi, squealed Nariko, and instantly hugging her. Then stopped. Wait. Don't animals eat their own poo? Yuck. Nariko grimaced. Kyuubi gave her a look that said, I do not eat my own poo. How rude. Wait, how did you get here, Kyuubi? Nariko asked Kyuubi, picking her up, expecting her to answer back. Little did Nariko know Iruka was standing in the doorway, thinking how adorable the sight was. Kakashi gave her to me, answered Iruka, making Nariko jump. Kakashi. Nariko gave a confused look, but then smiled when she realized. Oh, I get. Iruka would have not let me keep her if I brought her home, but since Kakashi gave Kyuubi to her as a gift, she couldn't refuse, she too polite. Thanks, Kakashi, I owe you one. Iruka walked away to make breakfast. I had the weirdest dream, Kyuubi. I hope I don't get any more like that, whispered Nariko. Hint, hint. Little did Nariko know that she wasn't the only person who had strange dreams that night. Dreamscape. Tai Lei woke up, and said, where the hell am I? She looked around the room and knew this definitely wasn't her room. Honey, what's the matter? Cried a voice from the corridor. Tai Lei saw. Rock Lee. Lee. Screeched Tai Lei. What wrong? Asked Rock Lee. What are you doing here? Yelled Tai Lei. I live here, you know, with Iwa and Raku. Who? Our kids. Key kids. When she said that, 2 children ran into the room. One looked like a miniature Rock Lee and the other looked almost exactly the same, except she was a girl and her hair was in pigtails. Tai Lei shuddered and fainted. End of Dreamscape. Tai Lei screamed and woke up with cold sweat. She shuddered. Ew. I'll never sleep again, sobbed Tai Lei. After breakfast, Nariko hugged Kyuubi goodbye, and left for school. She met Kakashi on the way. Kakashi. Hi Nariko, is Iruka home? Asked Kakashi. Nariko nodded. Good, smiled Kakashi. Iruka smiled as she did the washing up. A knock on the broke her thoughts. She opened the door to see the perverted silvered-haired teacher Kakashi. Kakashi, what are you doing here? Asked Iruka, slightly blushing. It's my day off. I decided to visit my favorite dolphin. Kakashi grinned underneath the mask. Pervert. Smiled Iruka. You know, Iruka, I've always wondered what it would be like to see your hair down. Kakashi fingered her hairband. And I wonder what you look like without your mask, whispered Iruka. Oh my god. Must to make sure nothing's no my face, thought Kakashi. Where your bathroom? Kakashi asked suddenly. Upstairs, said Iruka taken back. I'm thirsty. Is this where humans drink water? Thought Kyuubi, eyeing the water inside the toilet. She wanted to drink inside the toilet, but she was too small and fell inside. Kakashi walked into the bathroom, and checked his face wasn't dirty or anything from eating this morning. Kakashi, are you okay? Asked Iruka from downstairs. Kakashi flushed the toilet so Iruka won't get suspicious, but not noticing that Kyuubi was inside. Kakashi then rushed downstairs to join his dolphin. Yip, 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 barked Kyuubi, as she swirled down the toilet and into the sewer. Tai-Lei had dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep. Are you okay, Tai-Lei? Asked Nariko concerned. I had the most horrible dream, screeched Tai-Lei. Hello, ladies, shouted Rock Lee coming behind Tai-Lei. Back off, yelled Tai-Lei, getting into a fighting stance. Rock Lee tried to reason with a screeching Tai-Lei while Nariko noticed Gaara, and a confused Kankuro hand him a blindfold and a huge mace with jagged spikes coming out of it, and a confused Tamari, switching on a switch, which opened a panel in the wall. Then a poorly Neji rag doll came down the panel. Tai-Lei stopped freaking out and watched Gaara, and so did Rock Lee. Gaara tied the blindfold over his eyes. Neji walked along the corridor and saw Gaara and the Neji rag doll. Then he spotted the huge mace. He gulped. He was very nervous indeed. Gaara swung the huge mace and ripped the Neji rag doll to shreds. Red paint splattered from the Neji rag doll, splattering all over the lockers. Tai-Lei, Rock Lee, Kankuro and Tamari stared in disbelief. While Nariko squealed in chibi form and fainted. Neji turned completely white. If that's possible. Run, Neji, shouted Tai-Lei. Neji scuttled away, while Gaara, hearing Neji's name, tore off the blindfold and chased after him. Oh hell, I'm going to die, yelled Neji. It wasn't long until Gaara caught up with Neji and grabbed him by the scruff of the neck. What did I do to you? What do you want? Shouted Neji, frightened for his life. I want you to stay away from Nariko, said Gaara, his eyes narrowing and glaring at him. And what if I don't want to? Snarled Neji, no longer afraid. Then you will dearly regret it, answered Gaara, raising the mace covered in red paint. Hashtag students, please go to the main hall. The second day of Valentine's week has begun. Hash. We'll continue this talk later, muttered Gaara, glaring at Neji. First off, Gaara and Nariko. Nariko gave a small squeak. She was now slightly scared of Gaara, especially what she saw in the hall. Second, Sakura and, please be Sasuke, thought Sakura. Kisame. Sakura sobbed uncontrollably. Kisame growled. This sucks, I get a whiny pink-haired candy floss-haired girl. Third, Tai-Lei and Kiba. I wonder what he's like. Nariko shivered under Gaara's gaze. He looks like he can eat me alive, thought Nariko. Gaara walked over to Nariko and said, follow me. Nariko nodded and reluctantly followed Gaara. Meanwhile, Tai-Lei was searching in the crowd for the boy she was paired up with, Kiba. Someone eventually approached her. It was a boy with a hood on his head, brown hair, and a small white dog inside his jacket. Hey, you Tai-Lei? Asked the boy. Yes, nodded Tai-Lei. I'm Kiba. You don't look like what I expected to look like. I thought you'd be much prettier. Well, excuse me. I certainly wasn't expecting to be paired up with a dog boy, shouted Tai-Lei. Which reminds me, Tai-Lei said to herself, ignoring Kiba. I want to take my pet too, smiled Tai-Lei, dragging Kiba away. Kisame put his hands over his ears, hearing Sakura's constant whining. Oh, this is so not fair. Wait till my father hears of this. Me with you, please. Being with you doesn't exactly make my day either, muttered Kisame. What did you say? Snapped Sakura. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, where do you want to go? sighed Kisame. I want to go the beach. I want to show of my bikini, bragged Sakura. Kisame sighed in irritation. Thought Nariko following Gaara. What the hell is that? Exclaimed Kiba, at Tai Lei's pet. It's my magpie, exclaimed Tai Lei, holding her pet magpie, Maggie, on a leash with a tag on Maggie's collar. Come on, let's go to the beach, smiled Tai Lei, dragging Kiba away. But unfortunately, Akamaru, Kiba's dog, and Maggie didn't quite get along with each other as Tai Lei and Kiba would like to have hoped. Akamaru began barking madly at Maggie. After a few moments, Maggie got annoyed at Akamaru and began swooping down and pecking painfully at Akamaru's head. Would you keep that dumb featherbrain of a bird under control? Growled Kiba, trying to restrain Akamaru. Why don't you keep that stupid mutt under control? Yelled Tai Lei, desperately trying to keep hold on Maggie's leash. As of Maggie kept trying to fly away, but eventually the leash slipped out of Tai Lei's hands and flew around the street corner. Akamaru jumped out of Kiba's arms and ran after her, barking. Akamaru. Maggie. Come back. Akamaru ran around the street corner, barking and snapping at Maggie. However, Maggie flew onto a nearby roof, grinning at the barking Akamaru. Suddenly 2 men came behind Akamaru. Hey Jake, this dumb mutt has great speed, runs pretty fast, don't ya think? Yeah, he'd be for the races, Matt. The thug named Matt quickly grabbed Akamaru and threw him in a sack the thug Jake was holding. Hearing the owner calling, the 2 thugs ran off with Akamaru struggling in the sack. Unknowingly, one of them dropped something on the floor. Maggie swooped down and grabbed the item with her beak. Akamaru, where are you, boy? Called Kiba. Calm down, Kiba. Maybe he just ran off, suggested Tai Lei. Akamaru would never run that far off without me. Maggie perched herself on Tai Lei's shoulder. What do you have there, Mags? Asked Tai Lei, gently taking the item out of Maggie's beak. It's an advertisement from that really posh dog racing track. The advertisement said, do you think your dog is good enough to race in this track? If you do, bring your dogs to the Akita's dog racing track. The owner of the winning dog gets $2,000. Come today. You think he's been taken there? Asked Kiba. Maybe. Let's go anyway. I've always wanted to go to a dog racing track. Kyubi wandered through the sewers, disgusted. I'll never trust humans again, she thought. Her fur was full of yucky brown stuff you'd find in a sewer, and she was soaking wet with water and other stuff she didn't want to think about. Then she suddenly noticed a light at the end of the tunnel. Hooray! This is my chance for freedom. She dashed towards the light. Wow! Gaara, you took me to the beach. Thank you, Nariko said joyfully, giving him one of her smiles. Gaara couldn't help but give a small smile of his own at Nariko's big sunny smiles, aimed directly at him. So you can smile, said Nariko curiously. Gaara quickly hid his smile by turning away. I like you when you smile, it makes me feel kinda happy. Gaara gazed at Nariko, thinking about how innocent and pure she was. Gaara held Nariko's hands in his. Gaara? Asked Nariko, confused. Gaara started to lean down to kiss her, but unfortunately erupted. Hey, flat chest, called a very familiar person. Gaara looked up to see who interrupted his attempted kiss and who dared to call his Nariko flat-chested. It was Sai, in his trunks, waving cheekily. Call me that again, and I'll swear you'll live to regret it, shouted Nariko, waving her fist. Gaara's eyes darted towards Nariko. So his blonde does have a fire in her after all. Sai ignored Nariko and stared at Sakura. Sakura fluttered her eyelashes, and said smoothly, hey everybody, like my bikini? Indeed, Sakura was wearing a rosy pink flowery bikini, which caused many gazes form the male population except Gaara and Sai. Nariko cringed at the sight of loads of boys drooling over the forehead girl. Man, that's just embarrassing. You're just as flat-chested as Nariko, yelled Sai, laughing and pointing at Sakura. Nariko went red and attempted to attack Sai, but Sakura beat her to it and punched Sai hard in the jaw. Sai was thrown back into. Most of the male population, noticing how flat-chested Sakura actually was, lost interest. I'm going to get a wetsuit and surf, muttered Nariko, rubbing her temples. Welcome, I am Takara Akita, your host and also the daughter of this racing track with my dog Tinkerbell. A girl with whitish blonde hair spoke into the microphone. After she spoke, her caramel-colored small dog barked into the microphone. Now, asked Takara with a glint in her eye. Let the races begin, she yelled, whamming a gong nearby her. Tinkerbell howled slightly as the sounds made her body vibrate and hurt her ears as well. The dogs started to race, including Akamaru. He couldn't resist chasing the rabbit that sped by him. He chased the fake stuffed toy rabbit and was in the lead. Takara had a sinister and evil grin on her face as she watched the dogs race. Her date behind her, who was sitting in an armchair, who was absolutely bored out of his mind, spoke up. Is this all we're going to do on our date? He asked. Takara gave him a glare, which made him gulp. And now this part is true. My friend does have an evil glare, that shuts you up. But she is a nice person, but somehow wanted to be a snob in this story. Wow, she's scary. Tinkerbell, who was also bored, stared out the window at the dogs, but a particular white dog caught her eye. She watched how the white dog sped in front of the others to gain his goal, which was the toy rabbit. Her eyes turned into love hearts and knew right away she was in love. Do you see Akamaru? Asked Kiba, searching in the crowd. There he is. Tai pointed at Akamaru in the races. Akamaru! Exclaimed Kiba. Tai ignored Kiba's oncoming speech and instead headed for the betting booth. Don't worry, Akamaru. Kiba stopped noticing Tai was at the betting booth. What do you think you're doing? Yelled Kiba, flames in his eyes. I'm betting, smiled Tai. Huh, Akamaru's a fast dog. Think of all the money. Sighed Tai, eyes turned into money signs. Akamaru's speed in front of the other dogs catching up with the toy rabbit. Whatever you do, Akamaru, don't you bloody lose. Yelled Tai, shaking Kiba madly. Akamaru took his chance and leapt for the toy rabbit and caught in his teeth. Akamaru had won the race. Number 7 wins, Takara announced. I'm going to collect my money. Yelled Tai, rushing up to the betting booth. Meanwhile, Akamaru was enjoying ripping open the toy rabbit, when Tinkerbell approached him. Akamaru opened one eye looking at Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell gave a suggestive wink to Akamaru, which caused Akamaru to blush and drop the toy rabbit, and slowly walk to Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell and Akamaru closed their eyes, and slowly leaned in to kiss each other. Love hearts seemed to dance around them, until Akamaru. Kiba cried happily. Tinkerbell. Takara said in a disapproving way. The love hearts seemed to have broken as their owners picked them up, separating each other. Ew. Tinkerbell. You were going to kiss that mutt? Exclaimed Takara, looking at Akamaru in a disgusted way. Come on, Akamaru, you don't need a pedigree mutt like that. Snarled Kiba, walking away. Both owners walked away from each other, separating the two dogs as well. Tai, witnessing this, sighed and whispered to Maggie. Oh, it's a Romeo and Juliet dog story. Nariko surfed along the waves, calmly relaxing on her surfboard, until she noticed something under the water. Kyubi suddenly popped up above the water. Kyubi, what are you doing here? Asked Nariko, lifting Kyubi out of the water. She smelled the horrible smell on Kyubi and dropped her, accidentally bringing her hands to her nose. Ew. Kyubi, what have you been doing? I've been traveling around in your human waste. You people are disgusting. Kyubi barked in her language. Calm down, Kyubi, let's get you back on the beach. Suddenly someone popped out in front of Nariko's surfboard. Hey kiddo, grinned Kisame. Arga Sarha, yelled Nariko in shock and suddenly fainted. Squashing Kyubi. Get off me. Gah, can't breathe. Nariko stirred and groaned. Kyubi sniffed at Nariko's unconscious form. Unfortunately for Nariko, since Kyuubi had been crawling around in the sewer, she now smelled of poo and other disgusting things you'll find in a sewer. Nariko had just taken a big whiff of sewage. She bolted upright with a scrunched up face. Ew. Kyuubi, you stink, she cried. Kyuubi glared at her. What happened anyhow? Nariko asked herself. Suddenly someone overshadowed. Nariko looked up to see Kisame, grinning, showing off his perfectly white sharp teeth. Hey! Nariko screamed. Ah, now I remember. She then started to run around like a headless chicken. Meanwhile Sasuke was spying on Nariko. Fortunately for him, his second date was ill, so he was on his own. However, Sakura had found him and started to run up to him trying to show off her bikini. Hee Sasuke, how do you like my bikini? She asked, trying to do a Y pose and winking. Sasuke didn't take any notice and continued to watch Nariko through his binoculars. An anger mark appeared on Sakura's overly large forehead. Sasuke, are you listening to me? No, go away, you're annoying. Sakura was seething inside. Her invisible inner Sakura suddenly appeared. How come Nariko gets all the attention? What does she have that I don't? I bet it's only because the stupid moron nearly drowned. Wait, I have an idea. A few minutes later Sakura sat in the middle of the sea, and began to splash around. Pathetically. Help me, she pretended to cry, fake tears in the corner of her eyes. Sakura's dream phase. Sasuke came rushing up to the water, totally ignoring Nariko, and picks her up bridal style, then gracefully carries her to shore and lies her on the smooth soft sand. He caresses her cheek slightly and his lips breathing the words, Sakura, and he leans down to kiss her. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm writing this. End of dream phase. Sakura drooled at her sick twisted fantasy, and continued to pretend to drown. Someone yelled in the distance, hang on Sakura, I'm coming. Sakura snickered to herself, thinking her plan had worked, and started to splash harder. The figure hoisted Sakura over his shoulder. Sakura blinked. Since when is Sasuke this tall? She was roughly thrown onto the ground, a shadow looming over her. Sakura opened one eye and noticed that the person who rescued her had blue skin. Since when did he have blue skin? Then it suddenly hit Sakura's dumb forehead. The person who rescued her wasn't Sasuke, it was Kisame. Sakura paled as Kisame's lips puckered up to give mouth to mouth. Then Kisame covered her lips with his own. 1, 2, 3. Gaha. Sakura struggled out of Kisame's grip and gave him the biggest punch in the jaw. You pervert. I'll have you arrested for molestation. Sakura yelled at the top of her lungs. Kisame sat there rubbing his swollen cheek wide-eyed at Sakura as she stormed off. What a bitch, he muttered. Sakura raged in her mind when she realized Sasuke hadn't even moved from his spot on the hill, still watching Nariko. He didn't even notice Sakura pretending to drown. Sakura's cheeks tinted red. Damn you Nariko, she muttered. She stormed off and accidentally stepped in someone's sandcastle. Someone then suddenly grabbed her wrist, and suddenly met a pair of scary cold eyes. You just stepped in my sandcastle, the person growled coldly. Sakura chuckled nervously. Well, I guess I wasn't looking where I was going. Damn right, now apologize. Sakura glared at the boy. Who do you think you are? You think you can take me on? She snarled viciously. The boy grabbed the girl's pink girl, pulling it harshly. Yes, I can. After 15 minutes of yelling and screaming, Nariko eventually tired down. Gaara approached her, giving her warm look. Hey Gaara, where did you get off to? Nariko smiled. I was making sandcastles. He gently grabbed her wrist and said, come on, I have something to tell you. What about? Wait, is that Sakura? Yelled Nariko, pointing to Sakura, who was buried head first in the sand, with only her butt sticking out. Gaara shrugged as if to say he didn't know how she got there when secretly he did. Tai Lei and Kiba strolled along the beach, Akumaru was still sobbing over his short-lived love. Tai shrieked, jumping onto Kiba. "What the heck is that?" yelled Tai pointing to something wiggling in the sand. Kiba squinted his eyes. "It looks like someone's butt." Tai looked like she was going to puke. "That's not anyone's ass, that's Sakura's ass. How the heck can she breathe? I don't know through her farts. I think we should pull her out." "I'm not touching that." "Fine. I will." "You brave soul." Kiba gulped as he grabbed Sakura's butt and yanked her hard out of the sand. Sakura coughed and spluttered out sand, and taken a large deep breath. Her hair was now sticking up bolt right, and she looked like a creature that crawled out of a mud hole. Tai rolled on the floor crying with laughter. "Ahaha, I didn't know Gollum was supposed to be here." She laughed. Sakura glared at her, and raised her fist ready to punch her. Tai suddenly got in a defensive stance, but that wasn't needed as Akumaru decided to bite hard on Sakura's butt. "Yaoohhhhhhhhhh," squealed Sakura. Akumaru let go of her ass. "You'll get mouth dies," yelled Kiba. Akumaru obeyed his master and released Sakura. Sakura blushed in embarrassment as she realized she was bleeding from the bite marks, and ran off in a nearby bathroom. Serious part now, guys, what? There has to be some seriousness in this Gaara sat down in front of a large oak tree. "Well, what did you want to talk about, Gaara?" Gaara grabbed Nariko's hand, and gave her a deep loving kiss. After a few seconds Nariko gasped for air. "Gee Gaara," she stuttered. "Nariko, you're the first person who I actually felt for like this, who I actually loved, and I hope you can return my feelings." Nariko blinked in surprise, for she had never heard Gaara express so openly about his emotions before. She gave him a warm smile. "Gaara," she sighed, "does your heart flutter when you see me?" she asked. Gaara's face scrunched up in confusion. "No. My heart only flutters when I see blood." "Then you don't love me, you only feel physical attraction. See, before Aruka took me in, my dad always told me that when I fall in love with someone, that's how it will feel like," Nariko explained. Gaara felt an ache in his heart, not because she was declining his love, but because, she was right, he didn't really love her. He just thought she was beautiful and saw they shared past experiences. It wasn't love, but the question in his heart was, would he ever love someone? Nariko suddenly gave him a warm embrace. A warm feeling that he didn't feel in a long time suddenly came back again. "Don't worry, you'll find someone," she whispered. Gaara then made a promise to himself. If he couldn't get Nariko to love him, the least he could do was protect her from other people who'll try to break her heart. And if they do, well, let's just say they won't be able to breathe anymore. Little did they know someone was watching them. The figure gave a cold hard glare at Gaara, and a soft glance at Nariko. At the Valentine's dance smiley face. Nariko grabbed Gaara's arm. "Come on Gaara, let's dance." Gaara didn't move much at all, but it was Nariko who was doing the dancing for him. Nariko felt someone grab her shoulder and was spun around to meet dark coal-colored eyes. "We need to talk," Sasuke hissed. "Fine Tem. No need to be so rude," muttered Nariko. Gaara gave a warning glare to Sasuke, in which Sasuke returned the glare. Sasuke led Nariko to a quiet corner in the dance hall. "What the hell was up between you and Gaara today?" he asked coldly. Nariko gave a heated glare to Sasuke. "Why does it matter to you, Tem?" "It doesn't matter why. Just tell me. It's none of your business." "What's the matter? Upset he likes me and you don't?" Sasuke glared at her. "Fine. Be that way, I don't know why I bothered," he muttered, walking off. Meanwhile Tai sat stroking Akumaru's fur in a comforting way. "Don't worry Akumaru, I'll help you see Tinkerbell again if it's the last thing I do." Nariko's eyes fluttered open, but she wasn't in her bedroom. She was in a crimson-colored bedroom. "Oh great, I'm in one of these crazy dreams again," Nariko thought to herself. She looked in the mirror next to the bed and saw she looked taller. Her hair grew longer and she had the Japanese symbol for love tattooed on her forehead. Ah, I have a tattoo. Uruka's gonna kill me, Nariko yelled, waving her arms about. An older version of Tai Lei walks into the room. Hey, Nariko, get in your wedding dress quick. Tai Lei smiled. Nariko's pupil shank. Quote. What? Tai Lei grabbed Nariko's wrist and dragged her into the next room. Nariko steps up on stool, where a load of little girls in red dresses surrounded the stool, with a creepy smile on each of their faces. Nariko gulped as they came closer. Tai Lei made a creepy smile before she clicked her fingers, and before Nariko knew it, the little girls leapt at her and starting to take her clothes off. What the heck? Are you stripping me? Yelled Nariko, blushing a deep crimson. 15 minutes after loads of screeching and slaps, Nariko was finally in her wedding dress, along with the loads of bridesmaids lying on the floor unconscious with swollen cheeks. Tai Lei grinned and grabbed Nariko's wrist. Come on, Nariko. Your husband-to-be is waiting. My husband-to-be, Nariko repeated, eyes wide and mouth wide open. Yeah, remember Blondie? Gara. Tai Lei pushed open the doors and there down the aisles waiting was Gara, and people watching patiently for the bride to arrive. Gara had a small smile on his face. Nariko blushed and fainted. End of dream phase. Nariko woke with a start. Whoa, that was weird. And with Gara too. I think there's a link with all these dreams. Dreamphase. Tai Lei's eyes snapped open. She wasn't in her bed, but that wasn't what disturbed her. What disturbed her is that she felt tiny warm wriggling bodies on her body. She didn't freak out until she felt something wet licked her cheek. Gah! Yelled Tai Lei, kicking the covers off, sending many puppies flying through the air. Just at that moment, an older version of Kiba stepped into the room. His eyes widened as he saw flying puppies crashing down into him. What the hell, Tai Lei? Yelled Kiba, pushing the puppies off of him. Something licked me, Tai Lei yelled. They might be one of the puppies. Kiba sighed, annoyed. Tai Lei blinked a few, realized the things wriggling on her bed were puppies. One barked playfully behind her and jumped onto her shoulder and licked her cheek. Ah, cooed Tai Lei, picking up the puppy, giggling. The puppy seemed to grin and then peed all over the front of her top. Ew. Gross. Squealed Tai Lei, dropping the puppy. Hey Tai Lei, asked Kiba, oblivious at Tai Lei's screeching. What? Do you have those dog treats by your bed? Tai Lei turned to the bedside cabinet and saw bone-shaped biscuits. One. Yep, smiled Tai Lei, but realized her mistake when the puppies licked their lips. No. The puppies stepped forward. No. Bad puppies, stay back. The puppies ran towards Tai Lei, who yelled. Tai Lei woke with a start. Oh my god. Tai Lei panted heavily. I'll never look at puppies the same way again. But then Tai Lei remembered Akamaru and Tinkerbell. Hang on. Puppies. I have to get those two together. Tai Lei yelled. Insert Pink Panther music. Tai Lei, hidden behind a lamppost, dressed in a trench coat, sunglasses and hat. Soon across the street, Kiba came strolling along with Akamaru, holding a love letter in his grasp tightly. A large grin spread across his face, and on the other side came Takara, where she was holding a letter in big print were the words typed. Lots of money. $. But Kiba and Takara were so preoccupied in their letters, they didn't notice each other and walked right into each other. End of Pink Panther music. Tinkerbell and Akamaru yipped and ran off with other down the street. Tai Lei removed her sunglasses and smiled. Ah, puppy love. RIIIINNNNNNNGGGG. Oh crap. School. Tai Lei yelled as she sped away. Kiba groaned as he rubbed his sore forehead. Takara did the same. They glared at each other when they noticed one another. You. They yelled, pointing at each other. I suppose it was you who sent that love letter. Growled Kiba. As if. I wouldn't associate with common muck like you. And I suppose a common tramp like you said you'd give me lots of money. What are you talking about? Money. Takara looked at Kiba up and down. No, I suppose you wouldn't afford anything valuable. Why you mean little? Takara, tired of arguing with Kiba, shoved her letter in front of Kiba's face. Did you send this? Kiba took Takara's letter and gave her his. Their eyes squinted and looked at each other. We've been set up. Tai Lei came speeding back and said to both of them. Guys. School. Kiba and Tai Lei ran for it while Takara scoffed. TCH. Why run when I can drive there? She clicked her fingers and a pink limo appeared right in front of her. She smiled and ordered the driver to drive. Hello students. Let's get on with the dates. Nariko and Sai. Cried Nariko, sobbing into Tai Lei's shoulder. Tai Lei and Sasori. I play with puppets. Sasori smiled. Tai Lei's sweat dropped, while Deidara was fuming with rage like he was on fire. Deidara and Takara. Sakura and. Please be Sasuke. Rock Lee. Sakura sobbed in her hands. Yay. She's crying with happiness for me. Smiled Rock Lee. Sai appeared next to the sobbing Nariko. Don't worry, flat chest. They'll come soon, he smiled. Nariko glared at him. Shut up. You mean bastard. Yelled Nariko, ready to lunge at him, but was held back by Tai Lei. Sakura glared at Rock Lee. You are to stay at least 5 feet away from me, and it's just Sakura to you, said Sakura, turning her back on him. Tai Lei sighed as she tried to stop Nariko from killing Sai for the 19th time. She scowled as she dragged the raging Nariko by the back of her t-shirt. You son of a fox's deformed baby's child. I'll kill you. Tai Lei, let me go and kill him. He's asking for it. Look at him. He's mocking me. Yelled Nariko, red in the face, while Sai followed them with his calm smile. My god, I need somewhere quiet. I can't believe I'm saying that. Tai Lei muttered to herself, rubbing her temples. The art room is a quiet place. I go there all the time, Sasori spoke up. Great. Let's go. When Tai Lei arrived in the art room, she saw Deidara and Takara there. Deidara rubbed his temples with Takara's whining. Why should I be here? My precious pedigree puppy is missing. And with that filthy mutt too. Whined Takara. Before Deidara had a chance to yell at Takara for being so whiny, Nariko stepped up, who had finally calmed down. Well, surely with a great owner like you, she'll know how to avoid dirty mutts, right? Nariko asked. Takara suddenly stood up proudly, nose high in the air, and smiled. Yes, well, I think I trained her the best I can, she said proudly. Akamaru traveled down the street side by side with Tinkerbell, and traveled down an alleyway next to an Italian restaurant. A man in an apron walked outside the door and chucked some food in the garbage can. I'd try to sell it, but no, would have to throw away expired food, waste of good money if you ask me. Man, this place sucks. I bet my cousin Willie has better business than this, grumbled the man as he carelessly tossed the spoiled food inside the garbage can. The garbage can was so full that some of the food spilled out of it, landing on the ground. Akamaru stepped up to the food, moldy pizza mixed with green and yellow pasta type mush, sniffed it, grinned, picked it up with his mouth and winked suggestively at Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell raised an eyebrow, wondering what her love was up to. Akamaru safely put the food on the ground, dragged a cardboard box and put a rag over it, and dropped the spoiled food onto the table. This, to a dog's mind, is what a fancy dinner would be. Tinkerbell smiled and affectionately licked Akamaru on the cheek and sat at the cardboard box ready to start her fancy dinner. Takara, Tai Lei, Deidara, Sasori, Nariko and Sai were in the art room doing numerous things. Deidara was making bird clay sculptures, Sai was busy drawing on a large piece of paper, Sasori was carving wood, making puppets, while Takara, Tailei and Nariko were looking at the displays of artwork people have made. Yes. It's the best work I've ever seen. Takara exclaimed, looking at a painting, which was a large pounds, dollar, euro and yen signs all over a green background. Beautiful. Takara smiled, wiping a tear from her eye. Nariko's sweat dropped. While Tailei was staring at a multicolored painting, the artwork was good but the pattern looked familiar. Look what I found. Sai cried, revealing a bra. The bra was covered with paint, so the painting was actually someone slapping a bra dipped in paint against a canvas. Looks around about your size, Nariko. Sai teased, holding up the bra. Shut up, yelled Nariko. So that's where Sakura's bra went. Sai's eyes widened and tossed the bra away and wiped his hands against his clothes as if he touched some dirt. Unfortunately, Deidara caught it. I don't want it, yeah, yelled Deidara, throwing it away. This time Sasori caught it. Yuck. Sasori cringed in disgust, tossing it. Then Takara caught it. Oh my, cheap clothing, screamed Takara, tossing it somewhere. Then Nariko caught it. Eck, squealed Nariko, tossing it to Tailei. Ah, it burnsss. Tailei hissed, throwing it to no one in particular. It was an unfortunate time for Sakura to come barging in, with a depressed Rock Lee shortly following. Her bra had just landed on her face. Oh, Nariko muttered, taking a step back along with everyone else. Sakura's face turned into a crimson red. Roared Sakura, slinging her bra off of her head. Which sick twisted bastard took my bra? Sakura screamed, making her face look uglier than it already was. Rock Lee blushed since Sakura's bra was on his head. I have Sakura's bra, it's a dream come true. Sakura ignored Rock Lee as her eyes darted to each person in the room. Her eyes narrowed as she spotted Nariko standing in the middle of the room. Was it you, Nariko? Screamed Sakura, pointing at her. Nah, no, I didn't. Ha, I bet you did. What's the matter with you? Jealous of my chest? You're a freak. And you know why? Because you're a stupid, selfish little orphan brat with nobody wanting her. And I'm not surpised. Freak. Nariko's bangs covered her eyes. Aw, what's the matter? Is the baby gonna cry? Mocked Sakura. Tailei was fuming but was held back by Sasori and Deidara. Takara glared at Sakura, but decided to play no part in this. But the most unexpected thing happened. Nariko stood up for herself. Hey, you're flatter than me. Nariko yelled, her eyes narrowing at Sakura. Excuse me, yelled Sakura, shocked at Nariko. But hey, I bet you're even flatter than that. I bet you stuff them with tissues, and like to pretend they're your actual size, bitch, stated Nariko, her eyes turned into a deep crimson. Tailei's mouth gaped open. Whoa, personality swap. Sakura raged. She lifted up her fist ready to strike Nariko, but Nariko stepped aside. Then Sakura stumbled to the floor, and when Sakura hit the floor with her forehead, 2 large tissues fell out of her top. Nariko blinked, her eyes back to beautiful blue again. She looked around in confusion at all the gaping faces. What's wrong, guys? Nariko asked, confused. Wah. What was that? Tailei gasped. What was what? You just told Sakura that she had a flatter chest than you. Yeah, screeched Deidara. I did, Nariko said, surprised. Ah, I see, she has a double personality, and doesn't remember anything. What happens afterwards? Sasori said, nodding understanding. Cool, Sai said. Oh, well, that only happens when I get really upset. Sakura must have made me really upset, explained Nariko. Sasori and Deidara looked at each other. Takara stepped up to Nariko. I like a girl who stands up for herself. If you're ever in trouble, you have my aid and friendship, Nariko, smiled Takara, holding out her hand for Nariko to shake. Lee, help me up, squealed Sakura. No. What? The way you treated Nariko was terrible. You're no lady. I shall set my sights on a person who actually deserves it, rather than a nasty freak like you, said Rock Lee going serious. You're calling me a freak. I call them as I see them. This date is over, Rock Lee said, walking away. Sakura sat there in shock and began to run after Rock Lee. This'll be fun to see, Tailei smiled, running after them, along with Sai and Takara. You coming, guys? Nariko asked. In a minute. Yeah, smiled Deidara. Nariko ran out of the room. Sasori got out his cell phone, put it on speaker and dialed a number. Leader, we've found her, Sasori said. Good work, boys. Found out more about her. Find her weakness. Deidara, you like her friend, don't you? See if she tells you. Quote. Deidara said nothing. Don't tell me you actually like her, do you? If that's the case, then I'll. No. No, sir, I'll get info on her, yeah. Good. Keep up the good work, boys. Keep an eye on that Gaara boy too and get ready to strike when I say. Yes, leader, Sasori and Deidara said together. At the disco, Tailei tugged Deidara's shirt. Are you okay? You seem quiet. HMN. I'm fine, HMN. Nariko absolutely refused to dance with Sai, but ever since the Sakura incident he seemed to respect her a little bit more, even though he still teases her about her chest. Tailei turned to Takara. And I'd have thought you'd be Sakura's friend. Hey, please, her clothes are so cheap, and even I wouldn't hurt a person, then saying they don't even matter at all. I wonder why Nariko reacted like that when Sakura kept saying stuff like that. Tailei said to herself, staring at Nariko. It's because she's been treated like that before, a voice said behind Tailei. It was Gaara. How would you know that, Gaara? Tailei asked. Because when I first met her I knew that she had shared the same experiences as me, Gaara stated. Which is, I'll leave Nariko to tell you that, it's really her decisive, said Gaara, walking past Tailei. Nariko sat on a chair, lost in deep thought. Nariko's flashback. What a freak. No wonder she's all alone, she deserves no one. I bet she'll turn out to be just like her mother. Yes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, she'll do a wicked deed just like her mother did. 6-year-old Nariko covered her ears to block out these strangers' whispers and spite. They're wrong. I'm not gonna do nothing like that. They're wrong. I'm not her. I'm not like her. I'm not like her. Nariko groaned as she woke up from her sleep. Oh great, looks like I'm having another weird dream again. Nariko sighed, finally getting used to these weird dreams. Nariko. A voice called from the other room. An older version of Sai walked in through the door. To Nariko he looked hot. Sai gently took Nariko's arm. Come Nariko, I have something to show you. Nariko gasped as Sai showed her a lovely paint of her in the hallway, of herself in school and Sai. Nariko blushed, until she noticed the grin on Sai's face. What? They've grown big since then. Nariko turned beet red and looked down at her chest. Oh my god. They're huge. Nariko looked down at her chest to see a cleavage staring back at her. Oh my gosh. They look like my aunt's. Nariko felt Sai wrapping around Nariko's waist and pulling her against her chest. Who knew Sai would be hot? No, never. He still insulted the chest. Nariko woke up in a start. She looked down at her chest, still normal sized. Nariko sighed in relief. Me with Sai, never. She thought, angrily punching a nearby pillow and slamming it into the wall. Startling Kyuubi. Tailei woke up, with one of the ugliest things she had ever seen. Why you screamed Tailei, falling off of the bed and landing in a pile of puppets getting tangled on the strings. A young red-haired young man ran into the room. Tailei, get me out. Sasori smiled as he untangled Tailei from the strings. I knew it'd be a bad idea leaving the puppets in the bedroom. For a second there I thought the phantom had gotten you. Phantom? Asked Tailei, snapping her head towards Sori. Nothing. Come on, the show's about to start. Sasori said, grabbing her arm and pulling her with him. Show. Our puppet production, Konkuro has worked very hard to get everything perfect. Tai Lei sat in the front row and watched the performance with Sasori. She thoroughly enjoyed it, and laughed a lot until an evil maniac laughter rang up from the upstage. The spotlight suddenly revealed a blonde man with a ponytail and a half mask which looked like Deidara. Tai Lei asked aloud. Enter music Phantom of the Opera. Where's the music coming from? Yelled Tai Lei. It is I, the Phantom of the Puppeters. I have come for Tai Lei. Yelled the masked Deidara. Have you lost your mind? Screamed Tai Lei. Deidara took no notice of what she said, instead swung down, grabbed Tai Lei and threw her over his shoulder. Deidara, I'll kill you, roared Sasori, getting an axe. Put me down, screamed Tai Lei. Tai Lei woke up in a start. That was weirder than USAL. Nariko got ready for school as usual, until she saw some Sasuke fangirls gossiping to each other next to her. Did you hear? No, what? Sasuke's is in hospital. Nariko's eyes widened. No way. Nariko shoved the fangirl aside. How? The other Sasuke fangirl sneered. Why should I tell you? Nariko's eyes flickered red, and she grabbed the front of the girl's shirt. Tell me, or I'll punch your lights out. The fangirl gulped, and laughed nervously. Heh, he got into a fight with a boy. He won, of course, but the boy had a gun, he got shot. Nariko released her, sending the fangirl stumbling down onto the ground. Sasuke? No. Sasuke grabbed the front of Zaku's shirt. What did you just say? He snarled. You heard me, Uchiha. I said, your little blonde friend's face won't be pretty anymore by the time me and Dosu get through with her, smirked Zaku. My friend was seething when she read that. Quote. You're dead. Sasuke swung Zaku down to the ground. He landed a punch on Zaku's stomach. Zaku punched Sasuke's gut, thoroughly winding him. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. He put his foot on his back and grabbed Zaku's left arm and began twisting it harshly. Zaku turned around and looked at Sasuke in horror. Quote. No. Stop. Crack. Zaku's arm was broken. Sasuke sneered at him and pushed him back to the ground, and began walking away. Bastard, yelled Zaku, clutching his broken arm, but he smirked when he felt something hard in his trousers pocket. Sasuke, Zaku called. Sasuke turned around. His eyes widened when he saw Zaku holding a gun in his right hand, while his left arm hung limp from its limbs. Say good night. Bang. So there Sasuke was laying in a hospital bed, breathing heavily into an oxygen mask. The trainee nurse Rei, sweat dropped as she saw all the gifts for Sasuke. Fluffy teddies with goggly eyes of various colors, chocolates, a whole range of flowers, daffodils, roses, lilies, and thousands of cards from demented fangirls swearing their undying love for him. The nurses had a lot of trouble getting his fangirls away. The head nurse finally resorted to beating them off with a broomstick. Back. This is a hospital, not some boy band concert, yelled the nurse, waving her stick, jabbing quite a few of them. But none of them listened. A lot of them responded, must rape. Don't worry, I'll make sure my Sasuke is all better. Your Sasuke. Make sure none of the nurses puts their grubby little hands on my Sasuke. Rei turned round and whispered to the unconscious Sasuke. Boy, do I feel sorry for ya. Nariko marched towards the hospital, until a silver-haired young boy with glasses approached her. Excuse me, miss, but are you Nariko Uzumaki? Yeah, that's me. Forgive my rudeness, but I'm Kabuto. We were paired to date each other today, but you were absent, so. What a polite guy. No, forgive me. I was just worried because I heard Sasuke Uchiha was in hospital. So I wanted to pay him a visit. Is he your friend? He's my Akitan's rival. Friend. Hey, what exactly is he to me anyway? Kabuto gently held Nariko's wrist. Well, might as well go to the hospital together, smiled Kabuto. Nariko smiled back and led Kabuto to the hospital, missing the evil smirk on his face. Little did the two of them know that they were being watched. Tai Lei was in her long trench coat. Tai Tai, a boy in an orange mask asked from behind her. Shish. Toby, I'm stalking them, keep quiet. I don't trust that guy. Isn't that illegal? Toby asked quietly. Not if you get caught, smirked Tai Lei, putting her sunglasses on. Kabuto and Nariko entered the hospital with Tai Lei and Toby trailing behind. Excuse me, miss, do you know where Sasuke Uchiha is? Nariko asked the trainee nurse Rei. Rei raised her eyebrow and leaned on her broomstick, looking at Nariko up and down. Are you one of his fangirls? Nariko's face turned bright red. What? Why I oughta? Kabuto stepped in. We're classmates, miss. If you could point out the ward, please. Rei eyed Kabuto and Nariko together. Okay. She sighed. She turned around and pointed to down one of the corridors. In room U3, we had to move him into a private room. Thanks. Smiled Nariko, running down the corridors, dragging Kabuto behind her. Rei noticed a girl with sunglasses and a trenchcoat that could only be Tai Lei. Waved Rei. Tai Lei stopped and straightened herself up. Oh hey Rei. Rei glomped Tai Lei. Why are you here? I thought you loathed hospitals. Smiled Rei. Tai Lei's face darkened. Hey mom, are you feeling better? Smiled a younger Tai Lei, entering the hospital with a bunch of roses. Her mother breathed hoarsely and turned her face slightly to have a look at Tai Lei. Have you tried that coffee they sell? It's really gross. Tai Lei said cheerfully, coming closer towards the hospital bed. Tai Lei's mother opened her mouth to speak and Tai Lei's face perked up. I'm sorry, but who are you? Tai Lei's mother asked. Tai Lei's eyes widened and the roses fell to the ground with a thud. Only silence filled the room. I still hate hospitals, said Tai Lei, removing Rei's hands around her shoulders. Just tell me where that blonde girl went. Rei gave a sympathetic look. She went down there, Rei said, pointing to Nariko's direction. Tai Lei swiftly walked past Rei, then stopped, turned around and smiled. Thanks. Rei smiled back. It seems she changed a lot, in a good way. Toby ran up to catch up with Tai Lei. Wait for me, Tai Tai. Nariko looked down at Sasuke. He was covered in bandages and breathing hoarsely into the oxygen mask. Sasuke. Shadows covered Nariko's eyes, until she felt a hand on her shoulder. Hey, you know what would be great? You buy him gift. There's one down the corridors over there, Kabuto suggested, smiling. Hey, that's a great idea, smiled Nariko, running towards the shop. As soon as Nariko left the room, Kabuto smirked evilly and pushed his glasses against his ridge. He pulled out a blade from his pocket and held it against Sasuke's neck. Stop. Kabuto spun around only to be pinned down to the floor. Oh, it's you. Nariko eyed all the sweets and ugly stuffed toys in the shop. He doesn't look the type to like sweet things. Nariko stared at the beautiful sunflowers. I'll just get him some flowers. Smiled Nariko. Suddenly a boy with an orange mask randomly came up to her and sniffed the flowers. Can I help you? Asked Nariko, eye twitching. Discover more. Movies. Anime. Digital bookstore. Nariko's pigtails stood up as the boy snuggled against her. Nari-chani so cute, the boy stated. Hey nurse. I think you have a runaway patient. Squeaked Nariko, struggling out of Toba's grasp. Tai Tai told me to stalk you. Toby said cheerfully. Tai Lei. Nariko, a strange aura looming over her. Toby nodded, backing away from Nariko slightly. Wait. Nariko said suddenly, looking up. Where is she? A hand pushed Kabuto's head down to the ground and the other restrained his arms. So you knew my plan. Kabuto smirked and glanced up. Kakashi. Kakashi glared at him. Whether at home or at school, no one harms my students, ever. Rei came in and stared at the two. Either you two are trying a new posture or you're causing trouble. Kakashi got up and dragged Kabuto out. If he comes again, get security. Kabuto whispered to Kakashi, You can't keep me away forever, Kakashi. Kakashi growled as security came towards them. Nariko placed the sunflowers on Sasuke's bedside cabinet. Sasuke. Nariko muttered, looking at him. Dobi. Sasuke winced, opening an eye as his lips curved. Sasuke. Nariko wrapped her arms around Sasuke's neck. Ah, how cute, smiled Rei. Nariko and Sasuke blushed. They pulled away from each other and looked away. Well, good news, Sasuke, you'll be able to leave as soon as you want. Smiled Rei. He only got shot yesterday. Exclaimed Nariko. It didn't hit a visual spot and the wound healed very quickly, so, explained Rei cheerfully. Sasuke nodded and turned to stare at Nariko. Why visit me? Nariko didn't look at him, only blushed. Sasuke. Squealed Sakura, tearing through the door and threw an overly stuffed teddy in his arms. I'd tried to stop her, panted Tailei, leaning on the door frame. Discover more. Cookies. Author promotion services. Comics. Oh my gosh, SAASSUUKKEE. Screamed Sakura, taking his head in a headlock. Oh my poor babby. Don't worry. I'll nurse you to health. Nurse. Choked Sasuke, clawing to get at the nurse button. Oh Sasuke. Have some yummy candy. Cooed Sakura, shoving chocolates inside Sasuke's mouth. ERRKKFUCAHFMMUHSAKUBIITMMCH. Sasuke gurgled. I love you too, Sasuke. Smiled Sakura. Nariko was glaring at Sakura the whole time while Tobi was hiding behind Tailei. Protect me, cried Tobi, covering his face behind her. Rei's sweat dropped and came towards Sakura. I don't think he likes that. Rei stated, staring at the desperate-looking Sasuke. Who asked you, you cheeky slut? Screamed Sakura, cracking her knuckles. Rei glared daggers at her. I'm gonna have to ask you leave. I'm not leaving my Sasu. Rei whacked Sakura over the head with the broomstick and swept her unconscious girl out of the room. About time I took out the trash, smiled Rei, sweeping Sakura to the trash can outside the hospital. Nariko, Tailei, Tobi and Sasuke all laughed together until Nariko said, Hey, where's Kabuto? It appears Kakashi got in my way, Mr. Orochimaru. Kabuto said, bowing to the figure in the shadows. Coo. Not to worry about him. We'll reach our target in time. His golden eyes glinted with a devious thought. Seems my niece Nariko is getting in the way as usual. I will not let her get in the way of my goals, sir, Kabuto stated, bowing his head. Maybe this can come to our advantage, hehehe.